Yes, people, good morning, a good afternoon, and a good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone, but more importantly, I say blue morning to you because, in fact, it is the Blue Morning show. This morning, we have a few things to talk about, a few updates out there. It is Endrick, it is Edward, Mendy, some other updates, and then we will go into previewing the upcoming Premier League game between Newcastle United and Chelsea Football Club. I hope you're all doing well. Sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. And before we go on, again, as usual, because it is an interactive show, we're family now. We've grown from a channel to a community. It's important that I look at what's going on with people out there. Again, Blue Morning Kachila panel in chat says the captain of the house, Liam Lane. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. And here we have, please like and subscribe when you enter. Again, if you have not, as it helps the channel reach a wider audience. And let's see what else we have here. Again, I'm not sure what that means. Again, a big up Matthew Lee Benjamin. Big up, brother. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Here we have, again, the usual, the signature, like the damn video, people. We have 9 likes, and I know we should be doing better than that. So if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, much love to you too, brother. I hope you're doing well. Please kindly let us know. Like the video. Yep. Take a second. It takes just half a second to drop a like on the video. Please do that, again, to help us reach more people. I sincerely do appreciate that. Here we have, again, just saying hello to Matthew. So let's look at, again, the updates we have here. A few things are happening. This one here says, let me see what it says. It says Fabrizio Romano, again, reports that's, again, in quotes, Christopher Nkunku is happy to join Chelsea. Everything is almost ready. Chelsea will not wait to trigger his 60 million release clause. They have already agreed on a different payment structure with Leipzig to secure the signing ahead of other clubs. So just go ahead, put pen to paper and get it completed. So I don't know what the delay is about. It's killing me, really. And the truth remains, if you don't complete the signing, if you leave it until after the World Cup, chances are other clubs will be interested. And we're already hearing how Real Madrid, again, are considering coming for him. And to me, I think if we waste time, they'd be serious because the truth remains, they've made some signings in the midfield area. Most definitely, Real Madrid, they do need reinforcements in the attacking area. So it's important, really, that Chelsea move quickly if they want to sign the players. I'm not sure what the delays are. I hope if they're serious, they go, again, find a way to get it completed. It just doesn't make sense. Again, we've been, you could say, it has stagnated, really. If we're paying attention to what has been happening, this statement is no different from the previous statement we saw from Fabrizio Romano. It is still the same thing, if you ask me. So I'm not sure, again, where, what the holdup is. If you say it again, look at it, it says here, it just doesn't make sense to me. They have already agreed on different payment structure with Leipzig to secure the signing ahead of other clubs. So it just doesn't make sense to still say, okay, yeah, we'll we've signed him. So I'll tread cautiously. I want to say we've signed him until I see the player holding the shirt plus a statement from the club. I hope, again, we'll sign him. This is not me being pessimistic, so to speak. The truth remains, it is not straightforward. We must recognize that. And here, let me see what else we have here. Sorry, I have a bit of code here. 1 second. Right, back again. This one here again is just official saying Edward Mendy and Koulibaly have been named again in the Senegal's 26-man squad for the 2022 World Cup. That is no surprise. It is something I actually expected to happen. But that's, by the way, again, here we have, let's see what else we have. And I will talk about these topics. I will discuss them further. If panelists, again, all the panelists join me, this is just me giving you a highlight of things we have to discuss, or we can discuss it further later when you, again, make your statements on what you could say more of a highlight from me This is exclusive. It says Chelsea and Thiago Silva host Endrick's family at the training ground in a bid to sign the 16-year-old Brazilian prospect. To me, there's two things. It's a sign, again, that really, as reported, now again, we're ahead of other clubs that are looking to sign the player, but that's no guarantee. Plus, again, it all highlights the importance of the club, again, doing whatever it can to retain the services of Thiago Silva beyond his playing career. Because this is, again, again, for instance, this is the sort of situation that I talked about whenever I talk about Thiago Silva, how, again, he has that pedigree. He's won so much. He's, again, one of the most popular players on planet Earth. He's won so much that when if you pick up your phone and somebody your phone as a player and somebody says, hey, this is Thiago Silva, you'd listen. And then when you say, hey, this is what, again, I think this club is good for you, you'd listen to. Again, those things, this highlights the importance of the club looking, again, trying the best they can to keep the player beyond his playing career at Chelsea Football Club. Because, again, he can help us achieve a lot given his pedigree and what he's won as an individual. The next thing we have here, just quickly, I want to see what we have in the chat, if anything new has come in. Again, if you're coming in, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. This one, again, the hold-up seems to be the paperwork. Will be signed after that. But, again, I agree with you about not getting excited until they decide. Yep, again, we've heard stories. We've seen situations where we heard a certain player had signed for us already, and then he ended up being all nonsense. So again, I'm not gassed. More importantly, before anything, before I believe it, I'd like to see a comment from the club. I'd like to see a statement from the club saying that we signed the player, and I'd like also see the player holding the shirt. Even that isn't a guarantee sometimes. But that's, by the way, again, in the case of this young man here, the Brazilian whiskey. I've said again, my mind on how, again, that also at the same time highlights, given that Thiago Silva is involved, that highlights the importance of the club keeping Thiago Silva beyond his playing career. If we want to make it easier for us to be able to sign a South American player, you can say any player in the world, I think he should be around again, especially when his retirement will still be fresh. So, but I hope you understand my point there. And here we have, again, Chelsea to reignite interest in Romeo Lavia in January. Again, points highlighted by Simon Phillips include, again, player liked previously by Porter's analyst. Serious Chelsea interest. Player likes to be keen, likely to be keen, so to speak. Contract with reps. Contact with rep since a summer. Much more. So again, this shows the interest of what we heard about Chelsea being interested in securing the signature of Romeo Lavia is actually the truth. So again, maybe if we get serious, if the manager really wants him, let's see what happens. Again, like I said, this is just a highlight from me. I don't know too much about what's going on, and even the post itself doesn't give away too much. This is again, it's great. Thiago Silva is willing to help get him to Chelsea, maybe for himself or staying on longer at the club. Maybe a way of showing the club, look what I can help you achieve. So again, we should find a way, again, more importantly, to keep him beyond his playing career. As much as I know he would want to go back to Brazil and retire there, which is more like a tradition to Brazilian players. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Let's see what else we'll have here. And we have, again, Brighton and Hove Albion. Albion's head of recruitment, Paul Winstanley, has been placed on a gardening leave as talks continue over, again, a move to Chelsea Football Club. So this further confirms that Chelsea are really interested in the player. And I'm talking to him. Let me see what Matisse says here. Another battering at the breach pending for this. I get the joke there. Yeah, maybe each time we take a player from them, the payback is getting the battering from them. Haven't seen you haven't seen you around these streets for a while. Are you good? Okay, this is just a discussion. I don't want to follow again the thread, but that's, by the way, I hope you understand that. Let's see what else we have here. And this is also on the Nkunku report, but from a different source this time. Pice. He says Nkunku happy to join Chelsea. Everything is almost ready. agreement between clubs with different payment terms, it's important to now close the deal. That's what I'm saying. Again, if it is that close, just close the deal. Again, I don't believe what I'm saying until I get an official statement from the club. Because, again, like I said, the rumors we heard the other day that Real Madrid are also interested in securing the signature of the player is actually believable, really. It is believable in the sense, again, that you'd look at it, you say he's a good player, he's doing was scoring more goals. So I'm not surprised, really, to hear the Real Madrid, again, looking to sign him. And like I said, they made a lot of signings in the midfield area, but nothing that serious, nothing that popular, or nothing that pronounced, again, in the attacking area or forward area. So it is believable indeed. But that's, by the way, I'm going to come back to the chat in a bit. And again, to see your contributions there. If any, if not, we will continue. Just give me a second here. Let's see again. It's great. Thiago Silva is winning. Yep, again, I've read that too. But that's, by the way, I want to get your thought. If you're in the chat, I want to know what you think really about it's this one right here. What you think? Again, are you looking forward to a game against Newcastle United? And it's an away game, or are you concerned? Are you nervous? I want to know how you're feeling. For me, I'm not sure how to feel because we're not really doing well. Did we play better on the against Manchester City? Yes, we did play better at the Etihad. Again, better than we've seen for a while. But the truth remains, again, a familiar issue showed. Again, lack of you could say lack of being. Again, we have not been clinical in front of goal, and that issue persisted. It did show, even though we played better. Some would argue they started with their second 11. I don't care, really. The second 11 is as good as any other team you can think of in the Premier League. That's how deep of a squad they have. So to me, it was an overall, you could say, an acceptable performance. It wasn't the best, but it was acceptable performance in the sense that we played better. We didn't sulk. We didn't defend deep. We tried to play football, and we did play football. We created some chances. And overall, you could say, actually, again, we had a better XG than them. Again, you could say on the day, the two goals they scored, one was from a free kick, one was from a rebound from our goalkeeper. So it wasn't like they battered us. In terms of possession, it's the usual thing. No matter what team they're playing, they had more of the ball than we did. But all the, again, aspect of the game, if you look at it, you say, yes, it was actually a good performance. Pulisic could have scored, I think, 2 goals. What's his name? Lewis Hall could have scored 2 goals too. But again, the key on the day, you can say one of the reasons why I say he made it that loss to Manchester City look like it was a win for Chelsea Football Club. Let me see what else we have in the chat here. I want to get people's opinion. And I have my brother, Adekunle Temitope. He says, again, concerned easily. Can you elaborate why you're concerned? To me, I will get into the insight, which shows if we win, really, if we beat Newcastle, it will be a miracle, really. Yeah, given, again, if we look at the numbers and if we're being factual, it will be a miracle if we beat them. Actually, you could say also it will be a miracle if we get a draw. So again, Temitope, I'd like you to really elaborate on what you mean about that. It's an away game, and the Newcastle Stadium, what's it called again? It hasn't been a good hunting ground for us, really, if we're being honest here. Just 1 second. How did I forget? I gotta forget the Newcastle Stadium, St. James's Park. Yep. Again, but we'll see what happens. Again, to me, it's not going to be an easy one. And let's get into why I don't think it will be an easy one. Let's look at the insight, which tells you quite a lot of things. We'll start by the first point here, which says ranked Newcastle United are ranked 3rd in goals scored per match. The second, yep, 2 goals per game at least. And again, let's compare it to our. Again, we're ranked 12th in goals scored per match. So this clearly shows they're more potent in front of goals than we have been. They've scored more goals in total. I really want to look at it, and I'll come back to this number again. Let's see how many goals they scored compared to how many goals were scored, really. Let's try and look at the table in a bit. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, so those are the numbers when you look at them, then you say, yeah, I'm really concerned. Here's Newcastle United. They've scored 28 goals minus 11 goals. They still have 11 balance. And for us, let's see where we are. We're outside. We're outside again. The top six actually was seventh on the table, and we played 13 games again. They played 14 games. Yeah, but still, again, we scored 17 goals and conceded 16 goals. Again, we have just a 1 goal balance. To me, yeah, that shows clearly they're more potent than us in front of goal, which it's concerning really. So we're comparing it the goals, the ranking for goals per game. Again, here we're ranked 12th, they ranked second. So yeah, that's a high. And again, the second item here to compare is that again they've kept they haven't kept they have kept the most clean sheets in the competition, sixth. Again, 6 clean sheets again in the competitions in total, which shows they defend very well. And most likely, you can say again from what I've seen, they defend as a unit too. Even though they're not like a team, you can say when you look at them, you say they defend deep and try to hit you on the break. They don't do that. They actually try to play. They have changed. You can say they're one of the big boys now. And like I've said in the past few days, their project is actually progressing quite well, progressing so well that you can argue their project is ahead of time. That's how again they are. Again, if you're in the chat, if you haven't taken a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. So let's compare that one. They have kept the most clean sheet in the competition, but for us, we haven't kept. Again, we haven't. Let's say the second item here says we haven't scored again in the last 2 matches that we've played. That's really concerning, really. And here we also have again Chelsea have won the previous 4 matches against Newcastle United. Yeah, again that's then. Now things have really changed. To me, again, here it says Trippier against second in big chances created in the Premier League, 7 big chances. To me, again, the numbers say if we win, it's going to be a miracle. The numbers you can say, argue also says, if anything, we'll get a draw from this game, really. But that's why, let me see what we have in the chat. I want to know if you're looking forward to the game against Newcastle, what you think will happen, really. Here we have, again, like you said you're concerned. And I said, okay, tell me why, if you can elaborate. I really do want to know why you're concerned. Here he says, again, I totally agree with you on Newcastle at the moment. Again, they have to be a favorite for the 3 points. To me, again, on paper, yes. Statistically, if you look at their current form, you'd say that. I'll come back and look at, again, both teams' current form. And here says again, please like and subscribe when you enter. If you have not, as it helps the channel reach a wider audience. So people, again, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Again, hi, Amelia. Thank you so much. I remember you. It was Ty that told you about Chelsea Perspective. Thank you so much for coming back. I hope you're doing well. Performance, again, hasn't been great. Yeah, that's why I know how you can. I know you're good. I knew exactly what I was doing when I asked you to elaborate, because I know, again, you're in fact very articulate with your points. And he says again, performance hasn't been great. The team is low on confidence. Yep, that's another one. Potter's way of working yet to sink in. Oh my goodness, this is just delicious. And I'm thinking I'm going to highlight this and we'll look at it again. And again, an important fan base, again, yeah, an impatient fan base, so to speak. All these, again, the backup the backdrop of a Newcastle team on the rise. That's the truth. More importantly, Newcastle are on the rise. Again, their project is ahead of time. They're doing quite well. They've kept the most clean sheets, again, in the whole competition. The ranked third in terms of, again, goals scored by game. That showed you they're not just, again, they're not good defensively. They're not just good defensively. They can score goals too. And again, let's see what we have here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jump Out. It's entertainment. I hope you're doing well. And Tamito Pay, thank you so much again for taking the time to elaborate. Really, that's some delicious point right then. To my brother, the beautiful game. How could we possibly win this? That's what I'm saying. If you're looking at the statistics, it's impossible. It would be a miracle to win this, really. If we're being honest, it will be. If we're thinking again, if we're thinking Arsenal are a well-drilled side, honestly, you haven't watched Newcastle play this season. Yes, again, they're not topping the table, but believe me, they are better drilled than Arsenal are. They're more physical. That's even the aspect that I'm concerned. Another aspect that I'm concerned about. Newcastle are more physical than Arsenal can be at this point. Again, yeah, Almiron. Oh my goodness, he's a player reborn under Eddie Howe. You can say he's a player reborn under their current project. Again, and Almiron, he's scoring goals for fun right now. Again, and the way he's again dribbling past even the strongest defense in the Premier League is something that I didn't expect. Honestly, it looks like again. Here's the thing. Let's put it this way. It just shows. It just shows. You can say if you have money in the bank, you'll be happier. You'll be a much happier person. Maybe knowing that actually they have the money makes a whole lot of difference, because the truth remains they haven't actually changed too many players, really. It is, you can say, yeah, they've made some good signings, but the truth remains they haven't changed too much, really, in their project. But because probably knowing they're big boys now, that alone, again, changes the mentality of the players. So, yeah, again, it's like you said, how are we going to win this, really? John Paul says, again, definitely looking forward to the Newcastle match again this weekend. I hope Porter uses the right spell and gives again and give a good send-off victory for the Christmas. Yeah, I hope so. But I want to let you again. Can you elaborate really what you're expecting from that game? If you're being truthful, do you really think would come out with a win? I think the most we can get from that game would be a draw. Really, again, that's just me in it. Deep down, to me, I think it's looking like another game we're going to lose. Because given the fact that, again, you can say we don't have the best team in the league. That's the truth. But Potter can actually do things differently, again, to minimize the damages. But to me, it just seems as if, again, he's so much in a hurry to implement his approach, and it's become detrimental to the team's performance. In the sense, again, we still see good football and still concede easily and not defend well. Again, and still, again, the issues in the midfield area persist. You can say the defensive issues and errors or frailties or whatever you want to call them that we've seen in the past. Again, you can say the issues stem from the midfield. And he's not really, it doesn't look like he's paying much attention to it. To sort it out, that way the defense, we could see a solid defensive performance during games. But we haven't seen that. We see one solid defensive performance in one game, and the defenders do a lot of work, a lot of running. The next one, they play like they're tired. So, but it doesn't look like he's paying attention to that. Again, here, let me see what he says again. I definitely tell me to say so much for Anthony Joshua going into a fight, knowing he will be completely destroyed. Bring back RCFC. That's the truth. I have to be honest. And that's seriously, again, hilarious. I have to be honest there. But again, I get your point there. Again, as much as I would, again, want to see us win, Newcastle is playing way better than us, considering they scored 3 against a City. Not just that, again, they play quite well. Again, a blessings coach and panel. I am scared, again, for tomorrow's game. I am concerned too, again, I don't think, again, I don't think we'd match Newcastle's level of performance right now, no matter how we see it. Like, I know the argument was come up, we have a better squad, again, better players, yeah, but we're looking like we just signed too many players, but that isn't really the case. Except if Potter changes things, again, we may well see another loss. And like I said, the most we'll get from that game will be a draw. I think Ziyech deserves to start this weekend. Well, he did well enough again. A good enough job against Manchester City. Nothing exceptional there. Maybe again you can say for the same reason he started against Manchester City. I don't think he'd get that much space to be as effective as he was against Manchester City, because it was all about the space available to him against Manchester City in most you can say 80% of the times during the game. Against Newcastle United, I don't think he will find that much space. That you could say he'd enjoy the game, that would see him create some good chances, because I think he was selected against Manchester City to exploit the spaces again that you as teams will always find in behind again Manchester City's high defensive line. Plus again, Man City technically what they do play with only two defenders when in the attacking phase. I think Ziyech started for us to exploit that. He did his best, but I don't think he'd get that much space against Newcastle United. I'd be surprised if he starts really. But that's by the way. Let's look at again head to head. We've won 14, drew 3, and they've won 7. But the most important thing to look at is domestic form. They're not in Europe, I agree, but they've done quite well domestically, really. They've beaten Everton 1-0 at home at St. James's Park. They beat Tottenham 2-1 at the new stadium. They beat Aston Villa 4-0 at home. They beat Southampton 4-1 away. They beat Crystal Palace again 3-2 at home. As you can see, really, they are scoring for fun. To me, it's going to be, it's not easy, really. Look how many domestic games we've lost. We lost to Manchester City. Again, it's not the Premier League, but it's a domestic game. We lost to, again, Arsenal at home. Yeah, a domestic game. Dinamo Zagreb is a European game. Salzburg, it's a European game again. And then we lost to Brighton away, again, by 4-1. So recent form overall shows, like again, it'd be a miracle if we get even a draw from this game. Really, I don't know what Porter is going to do differently, and I want to get your thoughts on what you think Porter should do differently so that we'll get a win from this one. Let's see what we have again. We might win if we play a 4-3-3 system against Newcastle United, Newcastle Ziyech and Lewis Hall again on the wings. If you play 4-3-3, yes, Lewis Hall is a midfielder and can play again on the as a winger too. Again, he played again against the Man City game. I think he played as a winger. Let's look at it. But before I do that, I want to quickly say, if you haven't, again, it's only fair that I give them credit. The app I'm using that's making the stream seamless for me is called again the FOTMob app. You can download it again on Huawei products, Android products, and Apple products. Very intuitive. You can get real-time notifications and all their stats like you've seen on the screen. So it's a very easy to use app. You can download one and have it on your phone. Believe me, you will thank me later for that. So let's see again. Let's see what we have in the chat. There's something I wanted to. I've lost my thoughts. I wanted to look at and talk about here again. It says, we have a better chance of winning if we stick with with Hall at left wing back and with Wednesday's front three. Again, I cannot see us scoring and Havertz. Here's the thing. This is a Premier League game. This is not going to be there's a contrast, a big contrast again to the players we'll be playing against, to the players that started for Manchester City. Pep didn't start again. He didn't. Let's look at the lineup. Pep Guardiola did not start with the big guns in the attacking. Again, you can say most especially in the attacking area. He started with practically their second 11. Newcastle will start from their first 11. And you can say Man City, they only started playing as well as they should be playing only when the big guns, when he brought in somebody like Silva, Bernardo Silva and Mahrez too, that was when things changed for better for them. Let's look at again. I want to look at that result, so we'll show what happened there. So for Newcastle United, it's not like it's a cup game that you'd argue we won't see the likes of Almiron or we won't see the likes of Alan Saint-Maximin. No, those guys will start because it's a Premier League game, and they want to go in. They want to go for the World Cup break with a win against us again for the cementing, solidifying their place in the top 4. So again, let's see what we have here. Look at it. Look at who started for Man City. Yes, Grealish started. Yes, I agree. Alvarez is a fine player. Yeah, but again, Haaland could have started, and you could say the situation could have been worse because they had a few chances that they missed. Okay, Mahrez started, yes. But De Bruyne didn't start. Again, there are other players when you look at it, but they started with a solid midfield. But the front line, you can say this isn't the best they could do, the front line. But against Newcastle, it will be their starting 11. And believe me, it will be much more difficult, really. Again, you can say Man City didn't actually play with it, again, with a top gear. They didn't start their game with their top gear, really. They started with, you can say, again, you can say, yes, again, we played well. Again, we didn't play as badly as most people thought it would be, but I didn't expect us to win that game. But yeah, again, but that's, by the way, my point is Newcastle will start with their starting 11, not like with what you would consider a second 11. And it's going to be even more difficult. And look at our top scorer remains Raheem Sterling, you could say, who's been one of the worst players at the club the past 5-6 games, really. If they get, that's just me trying not to lie. I think it's probably beyond that. Even days he scored goals, he's been awful. He's scored again, rating overall 6.84 rating. You can say 7.58 for Almiron, which I told you he's on fire. Goals and total goals is 8 goals. Raheem Sterling, 3 goals. Assist 1. Matches played 14 matches, 12 matches. Even at that, it doesn't matter again that he's played more. But you can say at this point he's in a better form than our top goal scorer. So for me, again, my point is Newcastle, they're not going to start with their second 11. Let's see the players they have out. They have Ryan Fraser out. Matt Ritchie, to me, he isn't their best player. Again, they have Callum Wilson, maybe, yeah, doubtful. But even if he's not playing, Almiron will still be a headache to deal with. He's actually a much more slippery, you can say tricky customer to deal with than you could argue again. Callum Wilson. Wilson also he'd been on top form, but yeah, what we're seeing here, Almiron is the one with again the most amount of goals for Newcastle United, and he's fit. Isaac is out, but Isaac's absence just shows you that Newcastle really their project is ahead of time. In the absence of Isaac, they've actually done quite well, let alone when he comes back. So, but more importantly, one other point I wanted to make is that Newcastle, they're not going to play second 11. They're going to start their first 11, and they're going to end again. And again, they want to end again, go to the break on a good note, beat us, solidify their place in the top 4. So it's never going to be easy, and you can say more pressure on us because we want to get into the top 4. If that makes sense to you. Let me see what else we have in the chat here. Just give me a second. It says again, 1 second again, we have a better chance of winning if we stick. Yeah, again, I've read that one. I hope that, let's see. We'll try the lineup building exercise, really. Lewis Hall, again, should be rewarded again, another start for his brilliant performance against City. Because if he can play that well against, one of the best defense in the league, he can do the same against a lesser opponent. I don't think Newcastle, again, I don't think you're paying attention to how well they're playing and how well they actually played against Manchester City. If you're paying attention, I don't think you'll be sounding again as positive as you're sounding right now. Again, but we have no big guns. Yeah, who would you consider a big gun in our team? Really, we do. Again, given what we have, again, the better players, you can say should be considered big guns. That is at our own level. Potter and his assistant, again, I haven't bothered to learn his name because they will be gone by the time I do. Standing on the byline, it reminded me of Lampard and Morris when they were getting slapped too. Yeah. Here's the thing. I again, as much as I'd say I don't like his touchline behavior. Even when we're losing, even when the team is playing horribly bad, then you expect him to react immediately. He'd stand again on the touchline with his hand folded, discussing with his assistant, rather than trying manage the situation. You can directly he can directly manage the situation by speaking to the player. Again, the worst day I've seen was the worst day for me again that I've seen. His behavior on the touchline infuriated me. Was his behavior on the touchline against Arsenal? Mikel Arteta was vocal throughout the game, even though they were leading, and he hardly spoke really. The only time he spoke was him again talking to his assistant. That infuriated me, really. Let's see what we have here again. I strongly believe, again, since we are going, again, through a rebuilding process, the youngsters need to get more minutes in the game. I've argued that before, again, and to develop their team chemistry, to further develop and be ready, again, for a much tougher, you could say, and become part of the team, develop the mentality needed for us to become a strong player. Chemistry, too, is important. Again, take the losses and grow our team. Again, I'm confused, really, in the sense, if he's saying that we need patience, if he's saying that the process is going to be, again, be gradual, if he's saying that it's going to be painful, yeah, again, if we then why not give Bro a chance when he deserves to start? Yes, he started the cup game, but I still haven't, again, I still cannot make out why or understand why Bro did not start against Zagreb away. So all those things are questions that we need to be asking. I'm not sure what the manager does. Sometimes, let's see what else we have here again. I hope Havertz again scores against them tomorrow. He's most likely going to start that game. Lewis Hall again has the Hazard factor, guys. No, I wouldn't again compare him with Eden Hazard. I know he's a good dribbler. I know again he has he's technically gifted. He's quick. He's an intelligent footballer. I wouldn't compare him to Eden Hazard, really. They're two different type of players. But maybe I do not. Maybe I don't understand what you're saying exactly. But that's by the way. Again, with that, I think we're going to go into the lineup build and exercise again. Let's see. I want to get your contributions. What do you think? What formation do you think he goes with? And I want to get, before I do that, I want to look at the Man City. Can we confirm what structure we really he used against Manchester City? Let's look at it quickly here. I think he again, we played well, but just didn't take our chances. I think, was it really a three at the back structure? Let me see if I'll be able to see that. Just 1 second. It's this guy here. Let me see. 1 sec. Let me see. Yep, I'm thinking he will go with something similar, but chances are, if Tochinho is fit enough to play, that we may actually not see Dennis Zakaria play centrally, play in the midfield area. Again, if we go back to let's look at the Newcastle midfield again, just 4 contests to show. Let me see their previous game and see who starts for them centrally and what they play predominantly. In this particular game here, it is again, wow, a 4-3-3 formation. They have John Shelvey centrally. If Shelvey starts again in the midfield area, I wouldn't mind judging his starting again as one of the 2 sixes. But John Shelvey is in the most. He's in the most physical. So I want to look at all the games too. Let's see. That should have, again. That wasn't that. Yeah, that was a cup game. So because I don't think Shelvey have started many games for them recently. Let me see what the Beautiful Game is saying here just quickly. He says again, Coach, again, I have a question for you. Are we gonna destroy Nkunku's career too? No, I think Nkunku will make us better. I think Nkunku will make us a better team. But again, I learned a lot of stuff again at this past transfer window that I'm not going to say I'm confident that we've really signed Nkunku given what we're seeing out there. Even Fabrizio Romano, he hasn't come out and say, okay, certainly Chelsea is going to sign him. I think even he is being cautious given with the language he's using. But that's, by the way, if he comes, we're not going to destroy his career. Chances are by the time he comes, we'll have a better midfielder. We'd see less, even if Porter is a bad manager, we'd see less of, again, the defensive issues we're seeing. Because I'm still going to keep arguing this. Every time our defense, we see a poor defensive performance from our team, it all comes down, again, those issues stem from the midfield, lack of proper protection for the midfield, which most people end up paying attention. It is really a big problem. But yeah, I don't think we will destroy his career. I don't think we'll destroy any player's career. I think by the time he comes, probably would sign Edson Alvarez too and some other better midfielders. But again, I'm paying attention to the sort of midfielders we want to bring in. I want us to get midfielders again who has, you can say not would you can by the time the season ends they'd have double digits assists and are capable of creating chances from central area, because the truth remains even on the ground Potter, you can say majority of the chances were created just as it was under Thomas Tuchel. They've all come from the flanks, and it's predictable. And again, when it's predictable, once they stop the serve again, you could say the supplies coming from the flanks would struggle to create chances. So hopefully we're paying attention to the sort of midfielders we want to bring in. So I wanted to look at Newcastle again at their recent games to find out again the formation they played predominantly. Maybe that will give us an idea to what structure really that Graham Potter will go with, and who has played predominantly in the midfield area. You can see, like I said, Gumures, John Shelvey again probably got to play in the central area because it was a cup game, and to give him a game time. So this again is Gumures will be a much tougher customer to deal with in the central park area. Yeah, as much as I know he's a good player, and he can be physical too. But I think in terms of physicality, I don't think we have so much to fear for in the midfield area. So I wouldn't mind a combo of Jorginho and Kovacic on the day, which I think as long as Jorginho is ready to play, I think most likely that's what we're going to see. We will still see a 260s, which would be a pairing of Jorginho and Kovacic. So let's look at their other games too. We've looked at this game. What formation did we see here? I think it was still 4-3-3 with John Shelvey starting centrally, and like we said, he started probably because it was a cup game. It's still 4-3-3 there, and against Crystal Palace, we've seen that they played 4-3-3 there, but the difference. Gumires starting centrally, which again you can argue a much better player than John Shelvey. Let's look at their other games too. This is just us trying to figure out what formation they play predominantly, whether we see Porter changing or anything for maybe a better, you could say, what he believes would be a much more effective formation. Here also it is a 4-3-3, as you can see, with Gumires again. So he will never be John Shelvey, because the truth remains Gumires is a better player and he's done better for them. Against Tottenham away, a 4-3-3 approach. Still, again, with Gumires as against lone six there. And they had Almiron. If Almiron misses, I'll be surprised. But that's, by the way, again, there's one more to look at. Then we get back into the, review again. And I want to get what's your thoughts. What formation do you think will be better suited to play against Newcastle United? Really, again, I clicked on the wrong club. Just give me a second. This is again the guys I'm looking here. So, what formation do they play against? So again, it doesn't look like he changes much. He doesn't think. He doesn't, think again the structure. Doesn't change the structure. A 4-3-3 again. He's always liked that. Gumires again starts there, and Almiron again with a goal. I'm not sure how many games he scored in a row, and some of those goals are so delicious because he created the chances for himself by himself again. But that's, by the way, I want to get your thoughts overall. This is the one we're talking about here. We've looked at head to head. The insights which shows on paper they're more likely to beat us, and we've looked at recent form. We've lost 1, 2, 3 domestic games. They've lost none in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. So again, they're in a better form than us. And on paper, we're most likely to lose. So and if anything, the most we can get from that will be a draw. Let's see again what we have here. Trust me, coach. Again, I know Hazard a trait when I see it. Again, Hall is going to be legendary. Remember, again, I can predict some things in the future. Yes, then even if you can, Hall will be a great player. You can say he will. Again, he's a potential right now. No matter how well he's done in a few times we've seen him play for the senior side, the truth remains he's different from Eden Hazard. Yeah, you could say from what I'm seeing, the most I can say, he's more than likely a better passer of the ball than Eden Hazard is. Do I think he's the type of player capable of pulling a rabbit out of the hat to help a team win a game? You can say he's capable of doing it every now and then, given his technical ability. But that is an Ethan Hazard team. But I wouldn't say Lewis Hall. No, I don't think it makes any sort of sense to compare the two players. For that, by the way, I get your point. Lewis Hall is a good player, and again, would turn out to become a great player for Chelsea and a legend indeed if it continues with with that trajectory. He's again the confidence is shown, his technical ability, his intelligence as a player overall. Man City will be ahead of again all Premier League teams for a very long time. Even Arsenal now under Arteta wouldn't stop them. Even Klopp looks out of ideas. Yeah, or maybe don't have a deep enough squad as Manchester City, because here's the thing about Man City. The truth remains, the only thing you can say Pep tinkers when he makes it is the players. Formation doesn't change that much. The approach, again, the fundamentals don't change that much. But the difference is that Man City are so well drilled, even though you know how they're going to play, what they're going to try to do, it's difficult to stop them. In most cases, you can say predominantly, it's always a carpet cross from the flanks and somebody close by to tap in. It's always the player finding, again, the better positioned player to pass the ball to them. So these are basics that actually fundamentally, even by design, naturally becomes dynamic. I don't know how else to explain it for it to make sense. But overall, Man City, you know what they're going to do, how you think they're going to do it, but still you can't stop them because they're so well drilled at executing those things. Yeah, but good point there. So let's get into, again, the lineup build. And I want to get your thoughts. What formation do you think he will deploy? I really do want to know. Again, to me, again, it's obvious Mendy starts between the sticks. I don't see anything changing except if Kepa has recovered. I know the press conference will take place today. As the show progresses, if anything changes regarding, again, who starts between the sticks, you let me know. So I think Mendy starts between the sticks, most definitely. If you understand and you think otherwise, I really do want to know. But I'm not sure this is where things are going to be a bit difficult now. The idea comes to mind because I think he's going to play with this structure here, because that's the only structure you could say that gives us, again, the possibility to overload the midfield area, since they play with a one-man midfield. I think a 3-4-2-1 would be good, in the sense this structure, again, not, I don't want a situation where it would be 3-4-1-2, that you have, again, a lesser number of players to join the midfield to overload it. So, but with a 3-4-2-1 structure, these two guys can be considered midfielders. 2-8 or 2-10s, if you prefer, depending on the application, can drop deep and overload the midfield area. So I think for me, it will be again, a 3 at the back structure. But the question remains, who starts here? Cucurella did quite well against Man City. Maybe you could say because they didn't start with their top guns, so it was an easier job for him, but that's not taking away how well he did on the day. So I think Thiago Silva starts. Again, he's rested. He starts centrally here. The question is, again, who starts in the left center back position, because we have Koulibaly, we have Cucurella, both of which, again, Koulibaly have played there too, but I'm not really sure what, again, the manager is going to do. So let me ask you this question to see if you, again, let me ask again to get your thoughts on who you think starts in the left center back position. Just 1 second. Let's see what happens here. Left center back. Right, left center back position. Type it fully. So I want to get your opinion. To me, I think it's Koulibaly if he's looking for defensive solidity, because Almiron, again, his recent form, the way, again, he weaves through, again, even the strongest defensive line in the Premier League, I'm really concerned how we are going to stop him. So the question there, again, you can say the two options are Koulibaly and also Cucurella. So let me see your thoughts. I want to get your thoughts on who you think starts in the left center back position. Let's see again. 1 second here. Again, anything else? Again, for me, I think the 2-6s. I'm not sure, judging her situation and what time does just quickly does the press conference start? I really want to follow that to be able to, you know, to see again, hear the manager's thoughts whether Jorginho will miss out, because that would give me a good idea on who starts. But I'm going to say this anyway. As long as, again, Jorginho is fit, I don't think he starts Zakaria essentially. Yeah, again, he seemed to only give him opportunity in games where, again, maybe you could deem not that important. Yeah, again, Giovanni Jeffer thinks it will be a 4-2-3-1. Hmm. Here's the thing: it may well end up being a hybrid approach. But again, with the hybrid approach, if he really wants to play a hybrid approach where we'll play again, it becomes a 3 at the back when we attack, but when we defend, it becomes a farther back approach. Then that changes who starts in the right wing back position. But again, the truth remains, this can actually, with again, if we have the players I have in mind, let's say we have if we have Koulibaly here, and we have Cucurella again in the left wing back position, but it looks like Graham Potter prefers playing Cucurella in the left centre back position, so he may well not start again if Koulibaly starts here, which means Cucurella would drop to the bench. So we're not sure. Again, the reason I'm asking you to get your opinion on who you think starts, in the left centre back position is down to, because that trickles down. That again wields influence on what player starts here, and again a 3 at the back system wields a great influence on what player starts here. And as much as most people don't think, don't think that what's his name that Ruben Loftus-Cheek didn't do well. Most people didn't think he did well against Manchester City. I think he did an okay job, and there's a chance Graham Potter starts him here. And from what we've learned, from Graham Potter so far, it seems as if, again, the 11 he plays today gives away his selection process, gives away what players he will select in the next game. Again, I think it's become a pattern. That's the only thing you can say has been constant in the manner in which he selects players. The majority of the players that starts one game starts the next one. So maybe he uses the current game as a, should I say, precursor? I don't know if that would be the correct word to use for the next game. So I think we will see quite a lot of the players we saw again against Manchester City, especially in the defensive area and the wing back position. But again, the 2 successes where I think he will most likely make changes. But we'll see. Let me get your thoughts. Let me see what we have in the chat already. We have the queen of the house in the house. He says, again, blue morning to you, Coachella, blue morning to you too. Just Viola, I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for finding the time to join the show. Again, hi, everyone in the chat. So it's actually difficult to tell what Potter would do. And there's a chance, again, if he opts to play Kai Havertz and play him as a 10, which he's shown again. He does better when deployed in that as a 10, which means it would be a 3-4-1-2 rather than a 3-4-2-1. But I think Potter actually he prefers going with a 3-4-1-2 in most cases than a 3-4-2-1. Yeah, he prefers this structure. But Thomas Tuchel, again, the case is vice versa in terms of how, again, the structures the team in a 4 at the back structure. Let's see what we have here. Again, this is Mario Minto, brother. I hope you're doing well. Again, I hope you've recovered fully. Again, thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Good morning, Kachula. Good morning to you. To blue morning to you. I hope you're doing well. So it's even more difficult now to say. Let me look at what we have in the chat. It's 50-50. I'm going to wait to see if I get a tiebreaker there. So to me, as this is, I think most likely, and the fact that Mason Mount did not start against Manchester City, again, he's most likely going to start this one. But let's look at when he came on. Even though I don't think, let's look at when Mason Mount came in the game against Manchester City. Just give me 1 second here. Mason Mount, he was subbed on in the 68th minute. So yeah, so most definitely he's going to start this game. Just give me a second. Sorry, my throat itches badly. because it looks like my son has gotten another. He's brought something else back home. All right, let's get back to it. So, to me, I think again, underground Potter was seen mostly again a 3-4, again a 3-4-1-2 structure rather than a 3-4-2-1 structure. So most likely, if this is the case, Mason Mount will most likely start here. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Raheem Sterling didn't start against Manchester City, so most likely he starts. But we will talk about that in a bit. Just give me 1 second. Let's see what we have here. Yep, again, like this. Again, Mason Mount in the 10th position. If the structure is, again, a 3-4-1-2. Again, let's see what we have in the chat. Anything else to address it? Yes, people, if you're watching, we have just 20 likes. Believe me, we can do better than that. If you haven't, please do take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much. Let's see what we have. Just 1 second. Let me see. Yeah, let me see what we have. Yes, people, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. 20 likes, we can do better than that. Again, I hope things again will change after the World Cup. I still feel that again we can leave with silverware this season. One gone. One again, you can say one opportunity is gone. No matter how you see it. That's by the way, glad to have AD in the house. Again, we're going to try to finish building the lineup, get the lineup exercise, and then we'll go back to discussing some of those topics that I highlighted that we looked at. Endrick being and Thiago Silva involved in it. Probably you could say stadium tour with Endrick and his family, which is a good sign. But again, in a bit, I will look at that. I hope things will change. I hope so too. Says again, good morning again. Oh, okay. Oh, that sounds okay. I'm not gonna. Yeah. Again, like like the stream, guys. Like it now, people. Again, drop a like on the stream if you haven't. And I want to say quickly, let me bring on AD Love for Blue into the discussion immediately. AD, again, how are you doing, brother? Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show.
Big up, bro. So happy to. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I was just listening to you. Big up to you too.
Big up, bro. Just watching the watch. I was just I didn't want to actually join up because I didn't watch the game on Wednesday. So I only just wanted to listen to everything, but I just saw you were alone on the show. So I said, let me just join and then give it a little bit of bite.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That's so kind of you. I appreciate that. The Newcastle game, just quickly, are you looking forward to it? If you want to see again, let's look at it again. Just a few stuff. I've done that already, but it only makes sense to do that while you're here. Let's look at again head to head. Again, we have a better number in terms of head to head. I think it's 7 wins again. 14 wins of their 7 wins and 3 draws. And of late, you can say, yeah, we've done a better of late, but we're talking about a different Newcastle altogether. And usually when it's Chelsea Football Club, when the record says we've beaten a team 10 times, we've beaten them the next one, it's going to make it the 11th time. I don't hold my breath for it. If we're looking at current form, they've won how many domestic games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 domestic games, and they score quite a lot of goals. They do. They score more goals than we. They put away chances than we. If you want to argue that. And again, on this side, again, we have look at us. We have lost how many domestic games? We lost 4-1 to Brighton, 0-1 to Arsenal. We lost again. It's not a Premier League, but it's a domestic game. But look at them. Look at the teams that beaten. They beat Everton at home. They beat Tottenham in their own stadium. They beat Aston Villa at home. They beat Southampton away. They beat Crystal Palace at home. So they are actually in brilliant form. And if we want to look at the insight, that's something again that technically you could say statistically shows on paper. You could say that, or if you prefer on paper, they're gonna beat us anyway. The most we can get out of this game would be a draw. They're ranked 3rd in total goals, again in goals scored per match, and again at least 2 goals per match. And for us, again, we're ranked 12th in that department, which means again they're more potent. They have a more potent attack than us. again, have kept the most clean sheets in the competition, 6. And for us, again, you can say in the last 3-4 games, we haven't kept it. Let's look at it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably more than that. We haven't kept a clean sheet. Yeah, if we're looking at all the numbers, because the next game we'd see here will be, again, I'm not sure which one. Oh, okay. Yeah, we haven't kept a clean sheet in 5 games. That's the next item we're comparing there. Forget about the Trippier numbers. It doesn't really matter. We've won the 4 previous matches against Newcastle. This is the one where I said Charity FC creeps in. But given everything we've looked at here, what do you think, really? What do you think will happen? Eddie?
To be honest, there's no much of optimism going into this game. Must say, Kochi. There's no much optimism, no confident at all going into this game. And then if they offer me a draw as it is today, I'm going to take it in a heartbeat. I'm going to grab that quickly because I don't really see how we're going to go about it. Because one, we have been watching along, we've been struggling to get what kind of lineup is Potter going to come up with. No one can really say what he's going to come up with. I only listened to, because I was away on the day we were playing Man City. Well, I was at the airport and I was listening to your watch along. I was actually listening to your commentary on watch along. So the only positive I could hear from you talking was Luis Hale. The rage you were giving about the guy. I didn't watch it and I've not been able to see, but I'm going to try and watch that game again. I've not seen anything. So yeah.
Yeah. So again, so you don't think? What do you think? Do you think we'll get at least even a draw from that game?
That's what I said. If they offered me a draw, personally, I'm going to take it now. So I don't see us getting a draw, even, especially if we play Sterling and Jorginho. The midfield, like we said before the game against Arsenal, I said on the day, most of us alluded to that the midfield was going to be so crucial. And it found out, even though the goal was kind of not the best of goal we consider anyway, it was not that wasn't brilliant from Arsenal to get the goal. But at the end of the day, they still carved chances even more than us playing at home. So we're going over to Newcastle, who gives all on the pitch. I've never watched a game this season of Newcastle and felt, even since Eddie Howe took over, I've not seen any game they've played that you say, oh, they've been really, really very bad, or they've not played well to deserve something from the game. It's not happened under this regime. So, but when we are going to play Newcastle now, if we cannot take our chances, then there is no hope. We can't. They don't concede a lot of goals, just at the start as said to us, and they score as well. So both ways, we have to be solid defensively. The midfield have to be solid. So I don't know. Like I said, I didn't watch the other game where Zakaria played against Man City, so I won't be able to say if he did well to merit a start. But if he did, to say he deserves to start, then I see a reason why he shouldn't play this game. Because if Kovacic won't play alongside Zakaria, who else is going to play there? Those two, the midfield is so crucial that we have to get it right. Personally, I don't think Jorginho should play because if you see their midfield, Guimaraes, Joe Linton, they press very hard. They work very hard. They won't give you time on the ball. And Jorginho doesn't thrive when they don't give him time on the ball. So this game is not a game for Jorginho for me. So if Luis Hall, based on what you said, has played well, if he's going to play Cucurella the left side, which I think Koulibaly is not very comfortable playing the left side of defense, except he goes for defense. But if he's playing three at the back, it's better he goes with Cucurella and then maybe Luis Hall on the left side. Or I don't know, if he wants to play if he wants to play Koulibaly, then he goes Cucurella left wing back. Depends. We are so limited in that area. So, but I'm not really, really optimistic, to be honest. I hope I am wrong, and I wish to be wrong. I pray to be wrong, but I really don't see a lot of optimism going into this game, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't feel again. The way I feel isn't in any way different than the way you can say how I felt. My feelings don't differ from my feelings before the Man City game. this again, you can say we created a lot of chances against in the Man City games, but Newcastle are better drilled again in terms of defensive pass. As from the perspective of the defensive aspect of the game, you don't get too many chances really. But I'm not optimistic really. I think the most we can get from that game will be a draw, and that'd be a miracle too, given how potent their attack is. They are on fire really, and if anybody's looking again, the last game thinking John Shelby will start, no, I don't think. I think Gumi will start. Tebago, just quickly, let me catch up. Again, Tebago is gone already. Let me catch up with what we have in the chat. I'll come back to you again. Let's see what we have. Yeah, people like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you have. We'll have 22 likes, and we should be doing better than that. Mario, again, Minto, Chelsea perspective, with all the cash I've made from TK sales, I acquired a whole fleet of buses, so they will be one every hour on 24 hours of rotation. Yeah, even some people will be willing to jump on the bus even before the Newcastle game is played. Yeah, I get I get your point. Mount should be subbed on against Newcastle. No, I think he starts, really, no matter what you think of him. I prefer we integrate the young players in the team this season. Again, I will accept the 5th or 6th, knowing our side will be much better next season. We get to that. And Cucurella not in the Spain squad. Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do. You can say, and his start to life at Chelsea hasn't been, you could say, the best. Maybe that, again, also does have an effect. But I think his time will come. But he's not getting any younger. He's a fine player overall. Again, okay, please, let's see again. Chelsea average, again, Chelsea's average goal per game. Again, I don't want it to cross, but we will never be in the goal scoring per game bracket. Again, and conceding goals is also an issue. So that's why when you look at the insights for that game, you'd say, wow, on paper, clearly, technically, we've lost the game already. But again, the truth remains you cannot script football. On the day, there's a chance we see, again, a master class from Graham Potter. If he's been paying attention to the issues we've been having in all the games we've played since he joined us, we have a chance to do well. And Kimso, again, the panic bus driver, it looks like you're picking up a key. We have many of you now. He says, again, we are losing again. I don't blame you for thinking that way. Come on, people, again, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Please, again, do that for us. Again, it helps us reach more people. And let's get the likes up. We have just 22 likes. We should be doing better than that. Can people admitted that Rudiger is better? No. I get it. Again, he hasn't started well. Rudiger, when he was in poor form, was actually worse, really. Again, he's a better passer of the ball. He can help the team play well. The truth remains, we played as well as we played against Man City was because he was on the pitch. Again, he can control the game from the tempo of the game. He can, again, you can say impact how the team plays, even from, the central defensive area. So, no, I don't think Koulibaly, no. Again, it's easy to say that, given that, again, Rudiger's one more at Chelsea. They're both good players, but let's not get into comparing them both. But I don't think Rudiger is a better player. Again, let's see what else we have here. Nothing else. Again, this is, again, the last game before the World Cup. We've accused the players of a bit of not giving players of a bit given enough. Again, you think they will be going a full pelt again in this game. If they've been again playing in a conserved way, or this, I don't know if that's the right again, or playing again with the World Cup in mind, or not to get injured, then they'd be worse in the last game before the World Cup. Tebago, your thoughts? You can start from that part actually. This comment down the screen. And big up to you, brother. I hope you're doing well.
Coach, talking to me?
Yeah. You can go ahead with this comment down the screen. I think he's saying, Mario is saying, Mario, I don't want to misquote you. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's saying if the players, if they've not been given their best, they have not been given their best due to the World Cup being closed. Some of them, you can say, they don't want to get injured. then I'm saying that's actually going to be worse against Newcastle because it's the last game before the World Cup start. So if they've been doing that, they're going to be again. We're going to see the worst against Newcastle. But your thoughts? Are you there, Tebago? Or Eddie, you could go ahead. When Tebago comes back, you can join.
Okay.
Tebago, you're back? Yeah, go ahead.
Here. I
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
Yeah. All I'm saying, coach, we just need to continue playing a back three system, 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, whatever. But again, we saw against Man City, we played very well. But we are just not clinical enough. As I said before, every time we play, we're not clinical. That's the issue you're having. And also on the final third, we are not decisive also. Because if you look at Man City game, the last in the first half, last minute, Kovacic had a ball. He needed just to pass either one player. He made a wrong pass. We couldn't score. And also, Pulisic had a sort of a spot kick to score in the net, but he miscued the pass. So all I'm saying, like, our players are not clinical enough again and again. But again, this game, if I was Grandpa, I would just play the players that are not in the World Cup list so that they can give us 100% performance rather than risking players that are going to the World Cup and we know they won't give us 100% performance.
So you do agree with that?
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
What do you think, Eddie? Do you think, again, your thoughts on this comment on the screen?
Yeah, I agree with what Tobago said because the players are more like in the World Cup mode. They will be scared to give their best. They don't want to sustain injury to miss out on the World Cup. So if we have like Mason Mount, Gallagher, I don't expect there are some players that you say they will give their all, even though the World Cup. The likes of Thiago Silva, he's been there before. It's not new to him. To say World Cup is something that he will be thinking more about. Koulibaly, if he plays. But the younger ones like Gallagher and all, I don't think they'll be very cautious. They'll be have it at the back of their mind. So I agree with Tobago. If we can, because to win is the most important now to the club than thinking about them going to the World Cup. But if at the end of the day, the coach sees any sign from training, because it will happen from training, the way they apply themselves in training will show the coach that these guys have their mind already set on the World Cup. So they won't be giving even their best from training. So if he sees anything like that happening, he has to really know that he's going to drop those ones for the match, or else they're not going to give their best. I agree to that. That might happen.
Wow, that's really serious. It's a big issue, really. Let's say again, Coach again did go live last night, but Michaud cut out because had bad internet. Sorry to hear that again. The idea I'm going to give you before you start any show, try and reset your a router, but there's no guarantee that works. But in most cases, it works because it changes the IP address also. Or was it the IP or the port? I'm not sure. Again, 15K before the end of the year, make it happen. Again, it's up to the people watching. You start by dropping a like on the stream. That way the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and we should be able to reach more people. Again, Coach, we have to win on Saturday, but if we lose by Xmas and we win a finish top season, it's a difficult one. A lot of factors. Newcastle are in better form. Newcastle, again, are more potent in front of goal. Newcastle, again, you can say they're well drilled, really. They're better defensive side than you can argue, than better defensive. Let me look at that number again to be sure. Look at it here. It says again, have kept the most clean sheets in the competition, the 6 clean sheets, which shows again, you could argue the best defensive side in the league. That doesn't mean they defend only. They play good football too. If you've watched them, Rudiger is better, Coach. If that's how you want to see it again, up to you. But to me, I don't think so, really. I think you're going by, again, probably the mistake he made against Manchester City that he didn't jump. Did Kepa not get picked for the Spain squad because of injury? He was supposed to be out for only 3 games. I think again, I haven't heard anything about the Spanish national team 11. Again, if you've heard, please let me know. Havertz versus Dan Bond again. Porter, please win this match. I hope he does. Again, if he doesn't win, it's some damage. I don't want us to. Even if we win, I don't think we're getting into the top four. Let's look at it and be sure of that number there. Let's look at the table. Just 1 second. So we have again. We're here. If we win, we'll have 24 points. So the most we can do, no matter what happens, really, is come to sixth place. The most we can do. That is, if we win and Brighton lose their next game. So no matter what happens, we're not going to be in the top four until again going into the World Cup break. So good luck to us anyway. But the win will be important in the sense, again, it broadens a chance of making it to top four whenever the league resumes. We'll see what happens against Newcastle United 4, Chelsea 0. Watch our players are trash again. And made of Lagos, again, you have every right to feel that way. They are not picked either. Again, not picked either. So not sure again what to make of that. Again, they must have plenty of goalkeepers. I think they do. They do. They have plenty of goalkeepers really, but I'm not sure which one of them they picked. Let's again, where's Fofana? I heard of 4 weeks injury, but no news. Even if he started training again, I wouldn't be in a rush to pick him. Really, I would not be in a rush to select him to play. I have to be honest with you. Again, let's see what else we have here. There is nothing wrong with the team. It's just the injury crisis that is hurting us. Again, if all our players were fit, we would be in a better place. I feel TT sacking is beginning to hunt Bali. I'm not sure which part of your comment to take really. It's too,
remember.
Yeah, go ahead.
Remember last season we started firing, and as soon we had injuries, we dropped a lot. We are in the same position again, just like last season. So I hope the owners and whoever's in charge of the structure will learn from this season and the last season, because as soon as James and Chilwell get injuries and Kante, we dropped a lot. So it shows that we didn't fix the issue last season. We just replaced those players that went to other clubs. And then hopefully the new structure, we need to give important players a new contract to avoid letting them go easily and buying their replacement again and again. It's so annoying because we haven't replaced or we haven't solved the issue. We just replaced the players with other players and still having the same issue at the moment, because under Thomas Tuchel, we started very well last season and we thought that maybe we have a chance of challenging for the league, but we dropped a lot. So hopefully going forward, we won't have the same issue.
Here's the thing. I think, yes, we have injury issues, but things really shouldn't be as bad as they are right now. If we're being honest, things shouldn't really be as bad as they are. Let me get what we have in the chat. I'll come back, Eddie. I want to start with you when I come back, really. But this comment again. First, you said again, it's just injury crisis, and then you said if all players again were fit, we would have been in a better place. I feel. I don't know. I think my issue, as much as this is not me saying Potter is a bad manager. I think he's so in a haste to implement again his approach. Really, he should take it. Had he decided to take it gradually, I think things would be better than they are right now. But things again are not again. You can say the performance has been poor because one, he refused to learn. He refused to pay attention to the numbers or to the performance. Really, instead of coming out and saying it was a good performance, even when for instance, the numbers showed that Salzburg could have actually beaten us, or that game could have ended in a draw. Really. So those things, again, you can say are issues too. Injuries are problems too, but those things are also big problems too. Eddie, your thoughts really? Do you think if we had like Fofana available, if we had like N'Golo Kante available, who else is out? who was this? Reece James available. Do you think that would have made so much difference again in that the bad performances we've been seeing, we wouldn't be seeing it?
Yeah, it could be. It could be, but we cannot say for certain that it would have made any difference. We don't know, because our problem stems from up front, not being able to score. That's most of it. You see, I keep saying it that the most form of defense is to attack. And when you score your goals, it makes the job very easy for the defenders. There's no much pressure. But when you're going into a game, look like Arsenal game, was nil all for a long time. If we had scored, or even the game, what game was that? There was a game where we had chances, we couldn't score. And you see, when you keep having chances, you're not scoring, it now gives the opponent that belief, the impetus that, we can actually attack them and score. They've not been able to score us. We've been under pressure. They've not scored. So we could take our chance. So it gives them that confidence to come at you. So even if they were there, we cannot say for certain. If we're talking about a striker now, okay, we had a striker who was scoring, pre-scored, and he was injured, that could be yes. We could say the chances we're creating, he could have scored. But when we talk about midfield and the defense, I mean, what would Fofana have done that Chalobah has not been able to do? What would Chilwell? He only just got injured, and we bought Cucurella to give us that cover. On that Tuchel, we had this problem with him, and that was when the slide.
Go ahead.
That was when the slide started because there was no proper cover for Reece James and Chilwell. So the bad performance coincided with when both players were injured last season. But when Tuchel came, when he was employed newly, you could see that we're very hard to beat. It got to a point that people knew Chelsea playing, you could not score against Chelsea team. His team was hard to score against. That was the hallmark of his performance. That was the benchmark he set for the team. Hard to score against, have your chances score. If we scored one goal, I mean, Liverpool won 2 trophies last year. They couldn't score against us. He ended penalties. So we cannot say that with this current team. They concede, they can't score. So it's just a lot of things happening with this team that I cannot really say if Fofana was there, we won't concede or it would have been better results of Conte. I could agree with that of Conte. Conte, I could say yes, Conte, because you do the work, you could give that defensive structure, solidity, give the hold to the midfield. But we can't really pin that on those two players. If they were available, results would have been. It could be, but I don't think it's a basis for us to say the results would have been different because the manager himself doesn't seem to know his best 11. He keeps chopping and changing, and it's not rewarding performance. So if we could have N'Golo Kante, he might look at N'Golo Kante and think, oh, I won't play N'Golo Kante. I think Jorginho is better. He's the kind of manager that does not reward performance. So I won't be surprised if those players were there. They're not playing. So it keeps just like that. I don't really believe in that, to be honest, 100%.
Yeah, while I'm with you, let's get it back to, because I want us to complete this quickly. There are a few transfer topics to discuss. Can you make a case of what a structure you think he'd deploy on the day? A back 4 or back 3, whichever one you choose. Can you tell us why you think it will be that particular structure?
I think you'll go with the back 3. You go with the back 3 because you want to really have the midfield and then have that back, the solidity at the back. And I think it might be the back 3 we will go for. Exactly like we keep saying, you can never, it's predictably unpredictable.
Yeah. According to his lawyer, Roger.
And again, AB, and again, as I said, against Arsenal, we played 4-3-3. I didn't want us that game to play that formation because the players at Chelsea at the moment, they used to play 3-4-3 system. And then we changed that system against Arsenal. So the players will be confused and stuff. But again, as I said, our fans will say, let's play players on the preferred position. They played, blah, blah, blah. Let's forget that game. In the midst of the game, we played very well. Even though defensively, we're so poor. But we had chances. We had chances that we should have scored. That's good. That's a good thing. In the previous game against Arsenal, we couldn't create even a clear chance so that we can come.
Because if you're playing with a 3-4-3, a 3-4-3 structure, you need the guy in the central midfield area, again to be all guns blazing, again able to read the game, able to control the game. So many stuff. Again, Jorginho doesn't have all that. When he plays there alone, we usually have issues. So why play with a 4-3-3? If we try a 4-3-3 structure against Newcastle, something they've played over and over again, like we've seen on the screen, I think we will suffer because they will execute the structure better than us. But that's, by the way, I think I agree. It will be, again, 3 at the back. And let's just call it 3-4-3. The structure can be anything. These 3 guys, 1-2-3, it can be a 1-2, it can be a 2-1. But I think on the ground, Potter, what I've learned, it's usually he goes for, again, a 1-2 rather than a 2-1. But I'll come back to you, Eddie. I want to get your thought on those players who selected here. I think the chat, they picked Koulibaly here. I think if it's going to be this, it will most likely be, you can't tell really. You can't tell because that combination we saw for, again, Lewis Hall and Kukureya, who was, you could say, had a good night. It was a brilliant day for him, really. A near perfect night for him, except that we lost the game. And the ratings show you he did quite well, actually. The numbers the same. I think he touched the ball the most. But that's, by the way, let me get what we have in the chat here. Then I'll come back to you, Eddie. Again, I didn't even watch the game. Yes, again, if you look at my YouTube short video, I thought we were going to lose that game 3-1. Again, thank goodness it ended with just 2. Our Spain squad was announced a little while back. No Kepa, no De Gea. Ramos, I'm not shocked, but at least Kepa should have made it. Even De Gea should have made it too, but I don't know what's going on. Eric Garcia instead of Ramos. Ramos shouldn't be part of that. Again, Fofana and in the World Cup, Chalobah also. Again, have 2 CBs. That's good. You can say, again, the truth remains, Chalobah, it's shocking to me. Even Tomori wasn't picked, but Harry Maguire, for people, is selected. Again, for me, I don't want to go in from a Nigerian perspective. Again, someone who was born and bred in Nigeria, I don't want to go into that Tomori's argument. But I'd say if he knew, he'd be better off representing Canada or Nigeria, and he'd be one of the first to make it in the list. And now he'd be so pissed. I think next time even they call him, he wouldn't listen, really. I don't know if he's played a match that counts, that he's played for England national team. If he hasn't, he may well switch allegiance immediately. But that's, by the way, again, Eddie Howe, in your opinion, I'm not going to get into that argument. Here's my advice, really. Go to Twitter, put out a tweet. Use the picture of both managers. You get what you deserve if you do that. Please like and subscribe when you enter, if you have not, as it helps the channel, again, grow and, again, reach a wider audience. Please, even if you're watching, I want to say, and you're not able to join or type anything in the chat, I just want to say thank you to you. We appreciate your participation. You don't have to actually be in the chat to help the channel grow. But if you can, take a second, again, just to drop a like on the stream. That goes a long way for the growth of the channel. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me see anything else to address here. This one here is in 3-4-3 is working for Chelsea currently, but 4-5-1 was the most successful formation at Chelsea. Again, but the current, again, you could say down to, again, the reason could be down to the players we have, maybe. But we'll see what we, Eddie, let me get your thoughts. Our selection so far, what do you make of it? Do you think that would be the case, really?
It's looking more like what we can go with anyway. Koulibaly on that left side has not always been comfortable playing that left side, but based on what we have, I think that's the way he's going to go. But he doesn't look very confident playing that left side. I've never seen him. He's more confident in the middle, but we cannot shove Silva any other place rather than leave him where he is. So if we think the manager thinks anyway, that would be the best way to go. Then the only area we need to focus on is who plays on that player 7, which is the left wing back. So we see what's going to happen there, which is very crucial to that system.
You could say, if we're being honest, really, I will bet my money, even the numbers say otherwise. We say the same, so to speak. I haven't seen any player execute the left wing back role. Or let me say again, as intelligently, as beautifully, you can say, as the way again to the measure that Lewis Hall did. Really, correct me if I'm lying, Tebago.
I agree. I enjoyed watching Lewis Hall, and the good thing about Lewis Hall, he already played several positions in the academy team, so he's so good on the ball. He executed very well. I enjoyed watching this kid. Hopefully tomorrow, I hope he starts tomorrow. But again, I'm not the manager. But again, I just pray this kid will give a more opportunity on the first team, because now at the moment Silva is not available. We need this kid. And then it's so measured at the age of 17 or 18. Oh, this kid, so good.
He is so good indeed. And Eddie, look at this. Look at this. We're talking about a game we lost 2-0. Do you see his rating?
Yeah.
7.0 in a game we lost. And let's look at
that's what I said to you. I was listening to your watch along. I said it earlier. I was at the airport. Your commentary was what I was listening to, and the way you went on talking about him, I was feeling, oh, why am I not watching this game live to see what exactly this guy was doing? Up till now, I've not been able to see this guy. But based on what you said, and when I got home, my daughter was telling me as well, oh my God, Daddy, that Luis Hall was something else. I said, really? I said exactly what I was listening to. He said, yes. I said, okay. If this guy has played very well against a strong team as Manchester City, away from home, tell me. But one thing again we could look at again that will help him. You see, on that left side, one thing we fail to realize that, and based on stats, Cucurella did very well. Based on what I heard.
Yeah, he did well. Even eye test would tell you he did well.
Very good. You see, one thing that could make that possible, was it a coincidence that both people on that left side did well? Let me say one thing quickly. Because both players could complement each other, and when you have a left wing back who can attack and push their right side back, it gives the left-sided centre back the freedom to be able to play very well. But when the left wing back, like sometimes we see Sterling playing as a left wing back, he always gives possession away. The opponents are not afraid of him when he gets onto the ball and think, oh, what is this guy going to do, and push us back to think more defending against them. He puts pressure on that left side. So, for example, if we have Cucurella playing as a left wing back and you have Koulibaly playing as a left centre back, Koulibaly is not as attack-minded as Cucurella. He does not hold the ball to run on that flank. Cucurella will run on that flank. Lewis Hall was running on that flank. So what does that do? It pushes the right-sided players for them, which I can see from here was Mahrez and whoever was playing the other side. I could not see. I've not been able to see properly. So he pushed them back to think more defending, because these people can actually operate on this side. So was it a coincidence that the both of them actually ended up playing very well on that left side? Is something for us to keep an eye on.
Yeah, something indeed for us to keep an eye on. And again, I have to say, he has to start tomorrow. Let's look at his numbers quickly. And I know Tebago wants to say something. Let's look at his numbers. He played for 75 minutes. Total shots 2. And I don't know if you watch the highlight, the first goal, he didn't score. But it was still enjoyable to see how intelligent Lewis Hall is as a footballer. He had a Man City player before him. And this is not me saying, again, that Ben Chilwell is a bad player. He didn't just hit the ball straight up, and that's what Ben Chilwell would have done, take a shot immediately out of fear of the ball being taken from him, because he's not the best dribbler in the world. You know what Lewis Hall did? He took his time, again, pretend he was going to shoot. And the Man City player, I think he did slide on the floor, and he cut back and he used his right leg to try to finish. He would have gone between the legs of the keeper, but he was not smart enough to stop it. His intelligence and how he picks up passes from deep in our area when he sees, those circumstances where somebody will be making a run at the other end, and Ben Chilwell will still go like this, cut the ball back and pass it backwards or sideways. He picked up the pass accurately. And on 3 occasions, he took on Man City players. They were tight on him. He dribbled his way out of the tight spaces. And you know what he did? he didn't just progress the ball. He moved ahead of the person behind him and then drifted to his front, which is what intelligent players do, which means for you to stop him, you'd have to foul him. Really. That you need to watch it, and by now it should be available on the Chelsea website. Accurate passes, again, 21 out of 27. Again, that is not the best it should be, but if you watch that game, you will know how confident he is. Again, expected goals 1.40. That shows you how many times he made a good run, intelligent run. That when the ball got to him, he was facing the goalkeeper. Shot accuracy, yep, 100, because they were both on target. It wasn't like those misses you see from our attackers. They balloon the ball. You somehow miss kick ball. Again, big chances missed two. Those two chances were big chances, and the touches 41 successful dribbles. This highlights the story I just told you. How it doesn't matter how many players you had on him, or again, Cucurella's case, he finds spaces when you block again the passing lanes. In his case, he progresses the ball. He runs with the ball, run into the space, the slightest of spaces you're seeing, and you can't stop him. Passes into the final third, 3. He played mainly in the final third, so that number, again, can be low. Accurate long balls, 1 out of 5. Again, I could care less about this. You need to watch to see yourself. Interceptions, 1. Blocks, 1. Recoveries, 4. Dribbled pass, 1 time. Ground duels, 1. 6 out of 7. This is good, really. Was fouled 3 times because he was off thorn on their flesh, really. So to me, he must start tomorrow. I don't know how Graham Potter will explain him not being part of the team tomorrow, or even what's his name, or Raheem Sterling starting over him tomorrow. Believe me, this guy has shown technically he's better than Raheem Sterling. What Raheem Sterling has over him is experience. Honestly, he can do better than Ben Chilwell, really. But go ahead, Tebago, your thoughts. Tell us why. Again, you expect him to start. I really do want him to start, really. He should be starting. You go ahead, make the argument, Tebago.
Coach, everything you said, I was about to say it. Every time this kid had a ball on him, he take on his man. And those forward passes were lovely. Ziyech enjoyed them. And if he can do more, maybe playing tomorrow can do more, we're going to have a lot of teams, because he knows that wing back very, very well. As I said, like, I enjoyed watching Dumfries at Inter Milan. Every time he pick up the passes, he know what to do. That's a wing back, not a player always gonna pass back, ball at the back, know what to do. As a wing back, your primary role is to attack. And this kid, oh man,
it looks like the role was tailor-made for him, really.
Exactly. I enjoyed watching this kid. As you said, him and Cucurella connected very, 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 very well. And every time this kid he is on the ball, he's very composed. As I said, during that chance in the first half, he beat his man easily. He should have scored, but again, I won't be mad, because he's still young. He's still learning at Chelsea. But again, overall, if he can play tomorrow, man, it's going to give us a high percentage of winning possibility, because at the moment, Cucurella is a good player, or still is a good player, but this kid is fantastic, and we need this kind of players, attacking-minded players. Yes, they can defend, but we need attacking-minded players, because this kid is so good, man.
Yeah, very attacking-minded and reads the game so well, understanding when he needs to underlap or overlap. It was just so delicious to watch. And here's the thing, he made the loss look like a win, really, if we're being factual. To me, he's the biggest highlight of the game. Again, you can say the most pronounced positive of the game. Yes, we did better than expected, but yeah, what a performance from the kid. He played, again, better than most of them, really. And Omari, not in the England squad, shocking. And it quickly, I think they've both represented the England national team in a serious competition, which means switching allegiance is not easy. So what the game that the English FA played it again, that most of them, they just get them, make sure they play 1 or 2 games for them, just to tie them down. They did that. They've done that with a couple of players that you could say could have represented Nigeria or other countries. They just get them to play once. Then if you have to be, again, in you could say, in brilliant form for them to even consider you. Chaloba's case, I am really surprised, really. Even Tomori's case, I'm surprised. But I think that will create a problem for them in the future, but I don't want to go there right now. Let's see again. Let me see what else. Anything else to address here? The Blue Tiffy game says again, Howie's team is gonna tear Chelsea and all over. You changing Chelsea's name, right? Again, anything can happen. I know the numbers and the current team performance. It's one that we cannot win, but you cannot script football really. But again, you can come to a sensible conclusion given the team's current form and the insight we just looked at. I hope Kai Havertz score tomorrow. I know he's going to start really, but let's see what happens. Let me see anything else to address here. It says Kachila sounds like a proud dad when he talks about Lewis Hall. Man, I was so proud, really. I was so moved. I got chills watching him. Again, I didn't even pay much attention to every other player's performance on the day, but overall, again, you could say it was an acceptable performance. We weren't disgraced, really. We will have James Ochaloba. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you watch academy games?
I don't watch it that much, really, but I'm going to start, really. I
know
most of them was going to get. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, because I do watch them a lot. Because this kid at the academy plays as an 8 or a 6, and then alongside Charlie Webster, he's so good also there. And this kid, Omari Hutchinson, man. But again, hopefully soon he'll need to start. I'm just gonna come at England, beat Graham Potter if he doesn't play this kid, Omari Hutchinson.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one in a bit because it just doesn't make any sort of sense. Just give me 1 second. I'm putting up a poll. And Tebago, looking at the players we've picked already. Your thoughts? We think it's going to be a 3 at the back structure with Silva centrally. We know again Chalobah this place really. That's no question. He's had how many days to rest, but it's the last game before the World Cup, and I think he'll be fine. Your thoughts, Tebago, on the people who picked. Mason Mount most likely will start, especially if this is the structure. But go ahead.
Yeah, so far I agree with the structure. Mason Mount have to start because against Man City, as soon as he came in, he saw a difference. But again, that difference didn't make that bigger difference. But every time he's on the ball, he's looking to pass everyone near him. And also Conor Gallagher, he played very well. Oh, man, so good to have these kids. But again, we just need more. We need goals now at the moment. We don't just need beautiful football. We need goals. We need more goals now. So hopefully tomorrow can see more goals from our players. This game, just play it as a final before the World Cup so that our fans can be happy.
You can say again, as much as let me leave that for last, maybe, and let me see what we have here again. I've read this one. Did I read again? We will have again James Chalobah, Fofana, and Kukurea fresh for restart of the people, which again of the Premier League, which is great as we will need all the help we can get for top 4. And then you can say the likes of Arsenal again will make some signing in January again to reinforce their squad. Newcastle also. So it's going to be even more difficult, really, to get into top 4. But I hope we'll do that. Let's see what we have here. Yes, again, Mario Minto. Anything else? Again, the City fans were so gassed with their star boy until Hall came along and made him look like a Mason Mount. Again, Hall was so brilliant, man. I have to say, again, even Pep Guardiola will be licking his lips, but probably will go and check that he's contracted to Chelsea until 2025, and he will go, because that's one player I'd say he would have immediately asked the club to go get had he been, again, that he has just like a year left on his contract, really, he'd tap him up. He's such, again, he did so well. I know Pep himself will enjoy it. Don't forget, again, who picked Lewis Hall last season. I know, but again, after that, what happened, really, if we really want to talk about it. But that's, by the way, Eddie. Yeah, Eddie, are you okay with the players who picked already before we move on?
Yes, it's looking all right, but I think I mean, my thoughts doesn't really affect much. But looking at it, I think he might just go Cucurella that left centre back, and then if he's playing that, if he plays as Pilequeta as the player 8, then which is the right wing back, then when we are defending, he brings it back to like a back 4. If you understand what I'm talking about, he might want to be doing that when we are. So he brings like Aspilequeta on that side to make it like look like a back 4 when we are defending. Chaluba
So you
and
think
Silva will
he will go you think he will go with again with a structure and a selection that will make it a hybrid again, make it easier for it to be a hybrid approach.
the hybrid approach, kind of, yeah, because I was thinking he plays Loftus Cheek, but Loftus Cheek, if he wants to make it that formation, Loftus Cheek doesn't fit in as a right centre back. Sorry, as a right back. So, but Aspilequeta could fall into there and then shift. So it might be natural left centre back, which is Cucurella. And then when we are attacking, and I have that funny feeling, but just as we said,
just quickly, Eddie, I've heard that quite a lot. Is Cucurella really a natural left centre back, or is he a left wing back? I'm confused, really. I'm not sure which one he is. But again, the argument is that it's played predominantly in the left centre back position for Brighton. I think you could say that's really what it is, because that's where you can argue where Graham Potter prefers to play him. And here's the thing, I think what he did yesterday in that game again was that he was covered 2 days ago, so to speak. What day again? I don't remember. He was covering lots of spaces, making a lot of blocks, even an area where he should, again, Koulibaly should have been the one there, or Chalobah should have been the one there. So which shows you he reads the game very well. So I think, yeah, you can argue his preferred position would be the left centre back position. And I think that makes it even difficult for him to get into the Spanish national team because they don't play with that 3 at the back structure. But go ahead.
Yeah, so that's what I think he might want to do. And then that gives that player 7 might be, if the manager is, as we know, is not a manager that rewards performance or goes by based on performance. If based on what we talked about, Louis Hall is anything to go by, he should be the one that will play as player 7, which is the left wing back position. But as we know, Potter, he wants to accommodate his players, his own favorite players. He might throw Roy Sterling up there. But if he wants to go based on what performance of Louis Hall, I see no reason why it shouldn't be Cucurella on that left side and maybe rest Koulibaly. Rest Koulibaly. Don't put Koulibaly because, I mean, we talked about it some time ago that we are endangering both of our centre backs. Koulibaly is very good playing from that centre back. So if anything happens to Silva, Koulibaly is a natural replacement for him. So if we have both of them playing, anything goes wrong with both of them, who is going to call it? Chalobah can do that, but we know, based on experience, Koulibaly is more comfortable playing as a centre, the centre
centrally
of the field. Centrally, yeah. So that's just what I think. So maybe he might want to go with Cucurella. Based on Cucurella is not actually going to the World Cup, he might want to continue his form because while he did very well, let him play again as a left centre back and then play Aspilequeta, and then when he needs to like that kind of hybrid, he just falls into a back 4 and then he shifts to be like a 4-3-3 when we are defending. So Louis Hall will be there. Maybe if he plays Kovacic and I don't know, maybe Zakaria or whatever he plays in that middle. So they just turn to be like a middle 3 when we are defending and make the midfield compact. So we don't know what we can get. We can't second guess him,
Yeah. Here's what we do. I think we'll plug in as much as we can. The press conference is today, and it starts very soon, right? And I'm not sure what time. So we'll get a good idea whether I think if Jorginho
we're going to start in about 35 minutes. So
yeah, exactly. So again, if Jorginho is available, the outlook of the 2-6's position changes. So the question now will be who starts and who wouldn't. I think he's seen the importance of Kovacic, and I think given the personnel that Man City start, yes, they started their second 11. If we want to look at that again, you can say they started their second 11, but Gundogan is the starter. Rodri is a fine player; he's a starter. And yet again, you can say these guys can win the league really.
I agree, coach.
If Hall was able to do as well as he did as this guy started, even though this guy started, and he got this number really. I think again he mopped the floor with this Lewis here in question. And if you watch the game again, plus when they double up on him, even with Rodri, when all those guys double up on him, he still did well. So I think he must start tomorrow. And you could argue those in the chat agree. Of 8 votes, 100% of those that voted is asking me, really, do you have to ask? As in, yes, he gets to start. Nobody says, no, he's too young. And again, I'm happy to remember that, again, Graham Potter himself said, if the quality is there, the age doesn't matter. This is telling, because he cannot. I don't see how Graham Potter will explain this if tomorrow Lewis Hall doesn't start. But again, I'm not going to argue too much with that.
Coach, remember, just as he's never explained to us how Sterling keeps starting. So it's going to be exactly the same. We never had him explain the reason why. So it's going to be the same way. Who's going to explain to? He's not going to explain to us why Luis Hale will not. So it's going to be the same reason why he's not been explaining how Raheem Sterling keeps playing 90 minutes. So
yeah, that's I don't know what to say really, but I think he starts. Let's at least go by what again those in the chart what they believe would happen. So I think Hall starts here, and here's why I think even Raheem Sterling starting over him doesn't. Even though Raheem is more experienced, but he's a better player. He's more technically gifted than Raheem Sterling. As much as I agree, Raheem Sterling is more experienced, but no, this is a no. This is really a no-brainer, really. Him starting. If you see that performance, I think it should be available now on the club's website for free, so you can watch it full time. But that's, by the way. I'm going to start with you. What do you think will happen here? Because here the possibility is there that it could be Loftus-Cheek, it could be what's his name, the Spanish international Cesar Azpilicueta. To me, Cesar again, even Loftus-Cheek played well. I know he didn't score. You can say he didn't create the chance if I did not pay attention correctly. But let's look at his numbers to see, again, maybe his numbers will tell us more. 6.8, he's just 2 off getting, again, a green rating there. But let's look at his numbers. I think it would tell us more. He played 19 minutes, and again, total shots, 1. Again, accurate passes, 36 out of 45, 80%, not bad. Expected goals 0.16. I expected assists 0.02. That's really poor. Let's see what else that's important here. Touches 63. Successful dribbles 1 out of 250%. Accurate long balls 2 out of 450%. Not bad, but again not really good. Tackles 1 out of 1. Clearances 3. Headed clearances 3. Recoveries 4. Defensively, you could say he did better than he did attacking wise. Ground duels 1, 3 out of 5, 60%. That's good. Aerial duels 1, 3 out of 3, 100%. So he used his height to his advantage. To me, it wasn't the best of performances, but he contributed well, at least defensively. So who, to you, again, Tebago, who do you want to start? Who do you want to start in that, again, right-wing position? Do you think it's going to be him or do you think it's going to be Cesar Azpilicueta? Because you could say we need to be more defensively solid against Newcastle United, really. But go ahead.
Yes, I agree with you, Coach. Tomorrow, I feel like Azpilicueta should play because we need to be defensively solid because Newcastle play with force. As soon as they attack, will be hard for us, and if the Azpilicueta experience will be much safer for us in order to still stay in the game. So I feel like Azpilicueta should start tomorrow. And then yes, Loftus-Cheek against City played very well, but again, I expected more from him in terms of creating chances, and then
Lewis Hall shouldn't outshine him, really.
Exactly. But again, so overall tomorrow, I just want to see Azpilicueta tomorrow because if you don't win this game, I'll be happy with the draw because I don't see us winning this game. How Newcastle plays at the moment because they play with more confidence, they attack very well, and then they create a lot of chances, and they are clinical. So with us at the moment, we just on and off. So overall, Aspilicueta should play for me.
Yeah, I actually didn't know Aspilicueta got picked for Spain. I think it's down to his defensive ability. And sometimes, if he's well rested, you can see him creating chances. He can put some good crosses in the box too. He's capable of doing that. Let's see what happens again. I am honestly done with this squad. These players are not good enough. Newcastle going into the game as favorites. We're playing like a mid-table team. We deserve to be mid-table. The question is, how badly we played of late. Is it down to the players alone? Again, you would just say partly the manager is partly to blame, and the players are partly to blame. Roger, Eddie, let me start with you. What do you think, really? Given this comment on the screen, would you say again the bad performances of late? Again, you could say, do you think it's all down to the players, or do you think we should be doing better? Really, I know again we have some players out. I know again you can say we don't have the best squad in the league, but there are teams that have again the worst squad. They're still doing better than us. So to me, I will apportion. I'm not going to say what percentage because I don't want to start a fight. Some of the blames is down to the manager. You can say majority of them. Then the players themselves, they have to take blames too. But Eddie, what do you think? Given this comment on the screen, really? Yeah, just the Potter's lawyer just comes in at the right time.
It's an honest comment there. I mean, and it's a combination of both the players, the players that the manager trusts to do it for him. They are not doing it for him, and the manager keeps rewarding them, even though they are not playing very well. So the other players, I said this before, the other players on the bench, looking at those performances, can never be motivated. Because sitting on the bench, I feel the feeling they have is, I should be playing, and I'm not playing. And the next game, clearly one player of the few players have not played very well. They still see them starting again the next game. So what motivation do you expect from that? There's no motivation. They'll say, why am I putting in my best? So it's going to trickle, it's going to affect the performance of the other players that they come in. You expect coming on as a sub to impact the game. But we don't actually see that a lot, any impact coming up from our subs, because they are less motivated. And the manager seems as if he doesn't understand it. Imagine, we're talking about, we're highlighting Lewis Hall. Imagine if Lewis Hall wasn't the Chelsea player. We will be wanting, everybody will be raving, oh, go and get him 70 million pounds. Go and get him 50 million pounds. We tend to like players from in other academies or other clubs than what we have. We don't appreciate what we have as a football club. That is why we don't see a lot of transition from the academy to the first team. We don't see a lot anymore. We're only lucky under Lampard to see the likes of Reece James, Mason Mount are not breaking through, Tammy Abraham, because we're given a transfer ban. So we tend to always think bringing players from outside, ready-made players to fix, it affects these academy players. Lewis Hall should be a player that will be introduced into this team, let him bond with the team and give him the experience going forward. We have so many players like that before. If I'm not mistaken, is it Avivale or something is his name? We've not heard of him anymore. It's not in the squad anymore. So we tend to have these young players, but we are not really bedding them into the senior team and letting them be in and around our squad at all. The likes of Chukwuemeka, Kasedi, all of them, when are we going to see them? When are we going to start
in the case of Chukwuemeka, you can say, I think he's sustained a hamstring injury and will be out for a while. In the case of Kasedi,
we know before that, coach, he's not been playing. How many times have we seen Chukwuemeka playing? So it's just a good thing for the manager. I think, oh, thank God this guy is now injured, so nobody's going to ask me why I've not played him. So he's kind of happy in a way that he's not actually there. But because since he's been there, how many times have we seen him? And each time the boy comes on, he does the job better than the ones we've seen. Does the job even better than Mason Mount and Kai Havertz, and sometimes. Where is the reward? If you're good enough, you're old enough. That is what he's saying. Goes back. So why are we not seeing this player?
Yeah, and again, that brings me back to my argument again. If the process is a long one and we know it's a long one, why not start again? Risking again, giving the young ones, the young players team really again, so that they become part of the process and not. I don't know how to phrase it again. We're playing like a mid-table team. We deserve to be mid-table. It's as simple as that. if Lewis Hall again doesn't start, Kuchila is going Kuchzilla. Oh yeah, and that's a delicious comment right there. If he doesn't talk tomorrow, I'm Potter out. If he doesn't start tomorrow, really, I'm going to come out and say it because who are you going to start over him? He was more productive again in that position than Raheem Sterling is, even when he plays in his so-called preferred position. Really, if we're being honest, if again, but again, Graham Potter does his thing. Pulisic should impress us tomorrow. Again, I hope he starts because it wouldn't be fair again if he plays another 90 minutes. Okay, let's see what happens here. Alba shouldn't start. I don't think he should, but unfortunately, he will likely start. I think Potter he's loyal to the experienced players. Why that is the case, I just don't know. But that's why, anyway, if you're watching, if you haven't taken a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much, guys, for being part of the show. Let me see if there's anything else to address here. Again, it's quite hard to play football and very frustrating to be discriminated by your fans. I don't understand where you're going with that. Eddie Howe, greater than Apollo Neck and Blazer Wear Merchant. You've been Potter out probably even before he was hired. That's how I see it. But again, I get your point. If Potter loses, then we should find a way to win on matches after the World Cup. I don't know what to say to that. Again, something has to change. Again, I think the biggest problem right now is that he's being drastic with the whole process. It's not taking it gradual. I think that's the issue. Again, it's the players, not the managers. Sooner we realize, the better. Need to clear out. Given this your comment, that I have to say this, if that makes any sort of sense to you, and that's something the Bluetooth game have said before again during the show. And again, I'm going to steal it and say it to you, but that doesn't mean I am Potter out, because that's what the next thing the Bluetooth game is going to say. He says something to the effect of, a bad manager, again, a good manager can make a bad team look good. And good players can make a bad manager look good. A combination of both, then there's trouble. That's a bit of truth in that, really. I'm not saying Potter is a bad manager at this point, but it doesn't look like he's paying attention to the issues we have. And don't be surprised, again, if Jorginho is fit, Zakaria won't see the team. As much as you can say Zakaria wasn't seen that much in the game against Manchester City, he was effective, really. He got the job done. But a lot of people won't pay attention to that. They just want him to outshine everyone else before they agree, oh, he played well. But I agree, again, the Potter keeps playing the same useless, out of form players. Oh, so you agree already again? That's, by the way, I'm going to come back to the panel. I don't know if I should start Potter's lawyer, where to start him from. But let's start him with where we were. We want to get done with the lineup building exercise. And then we have a few transfer topics to discuss. So, Roger, here's the structure we think he's going to go with. Again, we think he's going to go with a 3 at the back approach. We don't think he will go with a 4-3-3 structure, given that that's what Newcastle they've played predominantly nearly all the time. So if we try to match them, they will outplay us because they're better equipped to play with that system. Essentially, Gumiere is to start, not even John Joshelvi. If anything, if they want to match us formation for formation, they'll probably most likely go with a combo of Guimaraes and John Joshelvi, but I haven't seen that happen before. So we think it's going to be a 3 at the back structure, with a 3 at the back being Koulibaly, Silva, and Chalobah, with Hall to the left, right. I'm still waiting for the vote. I'm going to conclude the vote who plays right in the right-hand side. I think most likely Aspilicueta, again, he's going to help us achieve, again, defensive solidity, and plus he didn't start against Manchester City. So your thoughts, what do you think about this structure and the players we've selected so far, Roger? And first of all, I hope you're doing well.
Good afternoon, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to you too, or good afternoon. I think it's afternoon where you are right now.
Yeah.
Hi, Roger.
Hello, Eddie. Wow.
Go ahead, Roger.
Okay. Is that me, or can you hear
No,
that?
that was coming from Edis.
Okay, sorry. Eddie, made some very good points a few seconds ago. It must be demoralizing if you're sitting on the bench and you're seeing the people in front of you not perform and you're not given a chance. I think that's a very valid point. So I just wanted to point that out. That formation is probably accurate. I suspect you will go with a back three. And I like the players you selected so far. The argument for Hall not playing is strong. You've got to look at this logically. But I will say that, listen, I'm not minimizing what Hall did.
Did you say the argument of Hall not playing?
Yeah, so I just want to say something. Hall, who did he go up against mainly for Man City? It was Jones, wasn't it? The youngster. Yes, correct me if I'm wrong.
Mahrez, everything starts from Mahrez pressing. And sometimes Alvarez, and sometimes Palmer. Rodri too.
Yeah, but who's the chap that on their right side?
It's Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis. Sorry, not Jones. Lewis. So he's going up against a couple of youngsters also. He wasn't going up against De Bruyne or other. Listen, I'm not minimizing. I don't mean to get that. I'm just saying.
No. You're entitled to your opinion. Go ahead, brother. I'm listening.
But I think maybe if he doesn't start, Potter's defense would be, I want to protect him and wean him in slowly, perhaps. That's my logic, because a lot of managers have done that in football. I know more so internationally than domestic. But
go ahead.
And I do agree that if you're good enough, then age doesn't matter. I believe he stated that before. So I agree with that. If you're 16, 17, and you are look at Pele at 17 in the World Cup in 54, he was amazing. So if you are good enough, then yeah, age shouldn't be a factor. But I wouldn't be surprised if Hall doesn't start, is what I'm saying. And I can understand the reasons why he doesn't start, but I would like him to start. I rate him highly based on that very small sample rate of 75 minutes. He looked the part. I like him. I think we should see more of him. In fact, there's a few other players that came from the academy that should be in the squad, but are not, unfortunately.
Okay, let's see what we have here again. I've read that one, and this is again. Don't let. Okay, I get it. Again, don't let coach again fool you. He's purchased a ticket again, first class maybe ticket for himself and his whole family too. Here's the thing: if I'm going to buy, it will be first class. I haven't yet.
Non-refundable, coach.
Yeah,
non-refundable.
I know.
Remember that.
And it will be clear to everybody. It will be clear to everybody that I'm Potter out if I ever decide I'm Potter out.
Coach.
I won't be subtle about it, really. Yeah, go ahead.
Seriously, coach, if he doesn't pick Hall tomorrow, are you really Potter out? Seriously.
I can't defend that statement right now.
Come on.
Really, I'm being honest.
It's too early in the process. You've got to give him time. And that's my logic.
Okay, let me just phrase it like this. I'll be leaning towards that.
Sure.
If Ski doesn't start tomorrow, because
you're doubting his logic, and I get it. I would.
Even more, because a couple of other stuff has happened that's raising question regarding again how he makes his decision making really as a manager. Potter has all it takes again to shake the senior players into shape. Omari, Cesare again, Bashir, Humphrey again, Charlie Webster, ATC again, but hasn't shown enough bravery. Yeah, that's where it comes back to us saying that he's loyal to the senior players. For some reason, I'm not just sure why that is. Again, let's say anything else to address here. Again, so I was not happy about the appointment of Potter. As to be sincere, so you probably was Potter out even before he was hired. Ever since again he helped us he helped us from the Champions League knockout, but again, it was a bit shaky in Premier League. Okay, Todd Boehly made a huge mistake of sacking Tuchel, if that's how you see it. Sorry, coach, we don't have again a first class section after all. It's Potter we're talking about. So if I join, I've joined. No, No,
That's great.
no separate, no classes. Okay, that makes sense. Again, if you don't pick a Kuchilaski for the team, the coach is out. It's oh yeah. Again, but yeah, that makes sense. I like that one
Tough
too.
crowd, coach. Tough
yeah,
crowd.
yeah. So you're saying you're good with again all the players who've selected, and you think it's going to be a three at the back structure. Roger, what do you think? Did you agree with that?
Yeah, I pretty much do. I mean, I believe he'll go three at the back based on. Listen, Newcastle, they're a strong team. They're in form, virtually all their players, and it's an away game, and that's a very tough place to play St James's Park.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. Their 12th man is a big factor for them. Something that we should learn by. It's going to be a tough game. We need to come away with a draw, at least.
Yeah, again, so it's not just me. If you don't pick Mario Mintos, if you don't pick his son, you're fired. I am like that with my son's team, and I am the coach. Okay, okay. Probably your son will never be dropped, but I get it. So he's probably again. It makes sense. Again, a family war was the family, and when it's children's game, even if I'm not saying anybody's son is the worst, even if your son isn't playing well, you're not going to be happy with the coach if your son doesn't start. I hope that makes sense. But that's by the way. Again, Roger, let me start you with this argument before I go to Eddie. The 2-6s, we're not sure whether Jorginho will be fit enough to play this game. Yeah. So what do you think happens if Jorginho is fit? I think he starts, really.
I think that's a strong possibility. 90% he starts if he's fit enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but we're not sure, again, at the press conference, when does this start again? We're not sure, again, whether he's fit or not. And what was the issue he was having? Let's see. If it's
a foot issue, right?
A foot issue. So probably he will most likely be ready. Let's see. Let's see the guys we have out. Okay, let me just go to the Newcastle game, really. Just quickly, we'll have a good understanding of who's out and who's available for selection. Let's see. For Chelsea, Jorginho isn't in there, actually. So it's Chilwell, it's Connie Chukwuemeka early December. It's Keparu Supalaga mid-December. N'Golo Kante, Reece James. So I think he's probably available. Yeah. So Jorginho starts his feet, not going to the World Cup too. So again, he will be one of those players that will give his all if he starts. Again, he's not concerned about getting injured or anything. Let's see what else we have here. Again, Jorginho should give the assist to Kai Havertz like the last match. I think he's capable of doing that, but let him doing it consistently is where the question lies. So let's say right now, Kovacic most likely will start. So we'll say Jorginho here. So if Jorginho starts, let's ask those in the chat. To me, I think it will be Jorginho and Kovacic. But if we ask the chat, you can say they will most likely pick Zakaria. But I don't know. Again, what do you think about Zakaria's performance against Manchester City, Eddie? Roger?
I thought it was solid.
He got the job done. Yeah.
Yes. And I thought, and I saw your review on Ruben, my cousin. I thought it was noticeable. Every time he went up for a ball, he won. He was dominant in the air. Yeah,
he got it done. Again, he had a good game. I'm not saying he had a bad game. He had a good game, especially defensively.
Yes, and I think it was obvious that he was told that your main responsibility was defensively. You know, I thought he did well. Listen, he's playing out of position. You know, he's a utility player, basically, for all intents and purposes. I'd like to see him given more opportunities in his quote-unquote natural position. But I rate Ruben, you know I do. Does he have deficiencies? Yes, he does. But considering what he's gone through, he's just beginning, you know, the last, I'd say 3 to 4 months of the seasons, last season and this season, where he's just getting on form now, fully recovered from injury. It takes a couple of years. I rate him highly. Is he Messi? No, but you know he's what I would call a warranted squad player. You know, I hope Kova is healthy and fully recovered. Was he subbed off? He was, wasn't he? in the last game. I haven't brought the game up.
Let me look at it again. But again, he was brilliant on the day. Actually, he had a good game.
Yeah,
you're talking about the game against Manchester City.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Let's look at it. If he subbed off, he finished the game.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so that was 4 days ago, right?
Yeah,
So,
he finished the game. Zakaria was subbed off. I don't know if you would say he was probably taken off, so he starts against.
So if he plays
again,
90
I think
minutes,
if we're gonna play with two midfielders, I don't think he'd be too concerned about stopping Gumieres because they play with a 4-3-3 and Gumieres plays centrally. So I think it will most likely be a combo. But go ahead with what you're saying. Let me not just take that from you.
Do you think because Kova played 90 minutes, you think he'll give him the start based on the fact that the week before he was knocked up? Just curious.
I think Kova starts. This is a very important game, and I think he recognizes how important Kovacic is to the team. If he doesn't know that by now, he should have learned that, given how he changes the game whenever he comes on. I think he'll play him. This is bigger than a final, really. We need this to broaden our chances of making it into the top four because a lot would change after the World Cup. Newcastle will be signing more players. Arsenal will be signing more players. I'm sure Brighton will be signing more players. So I think we need to win this game. And you could say he's only started Zakaria in games that again he doesn't. You could say he didn't take seriously and probably want to experiment with. I think that may have been the case. But go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, I get your logic. I really do. Yeah, I think if he's fit enough, meaning that there's no repercussions from that knock from a couple of weeks ago, I think he starts tomorrow. I do.
Yeah. I'm going to come to AD. I know it's not gonna be happiness for AD. The fact that he doesn't like Jorginho, again, that it's understandably so. But again,
I'm not his biggest fan either. You know.
Do you think I know? But again, one thing is clear: he starts really if he's fit. Even if you don't like him, you have to accept that Graham Potter likes him. But let's see what we have in the chat here. Let me get them. Big Up Kuchila says, my brother and friend, DJ Soft. CFC Blues again. Kuchila, the panel, and everyone in the chat. I really hope we can get Endrick. Again, we'll talk about him in a bit. The moment we complete the lineup, we'll talk about the transfer news we're hearing. I understood, so no worry. Again, how do you check this? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Edouard Mendy and Koulibaly are picked for the Senegal national team, and they're missing Sadio Mane, who's injured. Again, Kova and Zakaria. However, if J5 is really fit, it will be him and Kovacic. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Everybody who knows Potter, again, we've recognized Potter is not predictable, but we've recognized, again, he sees Jorginho, again, as an important part, integral part of his approach. Again, Kovacic with Kante is the best at doing the midfield. Yeah, but Kante isn't fit. It's as simple as that. Again, Jos Viola is running my transport security department. Coach is proven to be a very difficult customer. Yes, and that will continue for a while, if I'm being honest. But Potter could push me to just go for the ticket and even get extra seat for myself without anybody sitting on it. Again, Frederick is. Let me see anything else we have here. Again, anything else here? Again, these guys, I have to be careful when I'm highlighting, so I don't highlight some crap on my screen right now. But that's by the way. So Eddie, I know you don't like Jorginho that much, but I know by now you probably know and understand that if it's fit, he starts. What are your pairing for the 2-6 position? And so while you speak, while I'm going to ask the chat, it's who pairs Jorginho. But Eddie, I want you to speak for yourself. Who do you think pairs Jorginho, or who do you think starts? Because this is not your preferred lineup, but what we believe Potter would do.
Yeah, I mean, if just as I said, if Jorginho is fit for Potter, Jorginho starts. So if we go by that, we say Jorginho starts, and then toss up the coin. If it's Kovacic, I don't see him playing. What's it called, Zakaria. but I think it will be between Zakaria and Kovacic. But I don't know. This manager doesn't seem to want to play Zakaria. I mean, it's only the second time he's played the last game against Man City was the second time, and I mean, it's not done badly from all information and what we start with read out. But for whatever reason, he doesn't seem to trust him enough to give him. I mean, we know we have few games to the World Cup. This is the last game, but before now, he's not even played. Before he's only played the second game was against Man City. So if we're going by that, I think it will be Jorginho and Kovacic. He'll play Jorginho and Kovacic. But I just want to quickly ask a question. Are we completely stuck with this three at the back system as a football club?
At this point, you can say even if the argument comes down to we can do otherwise, we've tried to do otherwise, and it hasn't really panned out well for us in most cases, except when it's a 4-2-3-1, which is I'm smithing by what Roger would tell you. But the truth remains, even the manager himself hasn't played like that. And he's known to play with a three at the back structure at Brighton. He did that again on several occasions. So it would be difficult to see that, really. I think he only again did that in certain games. He changes as the structure just to match the opposition. But Roger, you can answer that question really if you want to try answering it. I'm sure you heard AD's question.
Just a quick one. Are we buying? So the players we are signing is with the mind of playing three at the back. That's the players we keep signing. Or it
sounds like it.
They are thinking of going in future playing four at the back, because if we look at most of the teams in the Premier League, it's only, as far as I know, it's only Tottenham and Chelsea that predominantly play three at the back. Now,
sure.
In the league, it's only Chelsea.
Eddie, under Potter, he's been in charge 13 times. 8 times he's played 3, 5 times he's played 4 at the back. So
just like Brighton, predominantly a 3 at the back approach.
8 to 5, yeah. It's not massively tilted, but it's enough, you know. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, because even when Tuchel came to Chelsea, we know when he came, it was just to stop the leaky defense because we're conceding a lot under Lampard. So he had to deploy the 3 at the back system, which he decided to keep for a long time. Because if you went back to when he was with PSG, he wasn't playing 3 at the back. He wasn't the 3 at the back manager. All of a sudden, he came to Chelsea because he was working. He just decided to stay with that system. And that's what has been going on for Chelsea. But when are we going to see a team playing 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 regularly? I mean, we used to think that, even under Mourinho, we're playing all those kind of systems. Lampard came, he was playing that system. So if you look at Liverpool, Man City, yes, Roger.
Eddie, there's a reason why we went to 3 at the back under Conte, because we were leaking goals with the back 4. We lost.
But Conte, three at the back structure has always been his thing, even before he arrived to Chelsea.
But he used a 4 for the first 4 or 5 games. Conte did, and we weren't that. We were leaking goals, and then the epitaph came. The final straw was losing to Arsenal 3-0 in the first half.
Yeah.
So he decided, let's go back to the back 3, and what happened? It's the same thing. So then Lampard went to a back 4. He wanted to play progressive, utilize our forwarding attack, but we were still leaking goals. So what did Tuchel come in? He decided back 3, stabilize. You've got It's the.
And you can say main reason being it was still the same crop of players who thrived in a 3 at the back structure.
Sure, yeah, with a couple of exceptions, but yes, for the most part, because the Italian ethos is if you don't concede goals, you don't lose. And so you have a look at what Tuchel did, what Kante did. We weren't good enough to play defensively with a back 4. It's simple as that. And don't forget, you can leak goals, but if you're not going to be clinical enough and at least score more than your opposition, you're not going to win. And that's been the case. So I'm a fan of a back 4, but you have to be realistic. There's a reason why we play with a back 3, because with a back 4 currently, we're not good enough to keep a clean sheet.
Every time we try it, it hasn't really worked.
Yeah, that's the reason.
But don't we think that is also, we cannot be having players who we are buying to play back three, and then we want to convert them to play back four. Because like now we are talking of them, Dumfries. Dumfries is a right wing back.
And that has become serious. Really, go ahead.
We're signing Dumfries now, which means we're going to be stuck with the three at the back. So we cannot now buy Dumfries and want to change Dumfries to play as the right full back. So we are not finding players thinking of changing the system. So each time we want to change the system with the players we have, it doesn't work because they are not natural right backs or so. We are only buying right wing backs, thinking, oh, if we want to play four at the back, we play them as right back. If I make sense with what I'm saying, because the way we are signing now, it's just towards buying, oh, it's a left wing back, it's a right wing back. Then we cannot think a right wing back will play as a right back. So which means this system is not going to fit. It's not going to suit the players whenever we think we want to change it. So that's why when Conte came, Conte inherited a four at the back system, tried to play it. Then when we lost to Arsenal, he now went with three at the back. And since then, it worked for him, and we maintained that. Under Sarri, we're playing 4-3-3. And Sarri decided it was going to be that system or nothing. If they don't get used to that system, he wasn't going to deploy any system. He said that was the only
actually
system.
Worked.
Yeah. So he was only playing the four at the back. He said it wasn't, because everybody was crying. Does he not have a different system? He said, no, this is system number one, and there's no system number two until the perfect system number one. And he was adamant on that. He played persistently with the four at the back. So when we are signing players, we tend to sign players. Like when we signed Aspilicueta is not a right wing back. Aspilicueta we signed as a right back. So
yeah, and actually he played predominantly in the left side for Mourinho.
Exactly.
He replaced Cole. He replaced Cole.
Yeah. So if we are signing players, I'm thinking of a right wing back, right? The likes of Endrick that we want to sign, the likes of Nkunku we want to sign, so we're going to keep playing all these players with less midfielders, less expression of these the brilliant players that want to play, all because we are playing three at the back. I really don't subscribe to that because it's really, really impacting the kind of players we sign. And then the players come into the football club, we think, oh, they look so bad. Whereas it's the club that is actually, the system is making them bad. That's why most of them will rather choose club to play 4-3-3. Yes.
Eddie, sir, I'm sorry to interject, but you have to understand most modern players now, they defensively I'm talking about, especially the back line, they are able to adapt between the 3 and the 4. It's simple as that. The wing backs, they are able to either be a wing back or an actual right back. It's simple as that.
Here's where the issue lies, really. The issue lies in the fact that, again, when players as a group, yes, the individuals can easily adapt to a different structure. When players as a group has played for a while, again, a certain structure, it's usually not easy to switch. When you switch, you see a lot of confusion, especially in the midfield area.
You know what? That used to be the case 10, 15, 20 years ago, especially in the Premier League / First Division. We didn't play with a back three, but now a lot of players are able to adapt because it's become part of their DNA where they interchange. There is some transitional issues. Yes, I agree. But for the most part, especially in the youth, the younger players coming up through the academies, they play them both in the back three and the back four. Just like goalkeepers never used to play with their feet. Now they have to. The game is evolving.
Sorry, Roger.
Yes.
Can I just ask a quick question here? When we signed Ben Chilwell, what did we sign him as? A left wing back or a left back?
Of course.
Now, good. So if he's comfortable as a left back, you cannot expect him to be brilliant as a left wing back. When we signed Cucurella, what do we sign him as?
Wing back.
That one I'm not sure, but you could say wing back position.
So when Reece James is a natural, he can play as a right back, but he's now playing as a right wing back. So Aspilicueta is not a natural. That's why we see the deficiencies when Aspilicueta tries to play as a right wing back, because there are qualities the right wing backs have that they don't have as a right centre back. As a right back.
Sure.
So if we are confusing these players, like Cucurella can play 4 at the back. He can play alongside Silva. But because we keep thinking, Koulibaly can play the left side, and for me, he's not comfortable playing that. So we tend to look as if Koulibaly isn't good enough. Because the system, we are forcing the system, but the players don't really adapt to the system. Because we buy them thinking, are we going to change? Or we're not playing them out of position, if you allow me to use the word, that with the phrase, out of position. they are not adapting to it. Okay, if we want to bring it, okay, we've signed Zakaria. Why did we sign Zakaria? To say, okay, if Kante is not there. At the end, we ended up now converting Kante from being a 6 to play like 8 sometimes. Because the system, we are just only trying to fix them in the system that does not actually suit what we want from them. So we should look at it from that angle as well. When we have these players, we tend to want to push them in to force them. Okay, why do we end up saying Sterling can play as a left wing back or a right wing back? Where does that come from? Has he ever played when it was Man City? But it comes to Chelsea, we want to try him. We want to try Pulisic as a left wing back. We want to try Ziyech as a right wing back. We're just forcing this thing, and sometimes we have to look at that as a whole. As a football club, are we signing the right players? It's good enough to be linked to Endrick. It's good enough to be linked to Nkunku. It's good enough to be linked to what's it called? Vadiola. It's good enough to be linked to Dumfries. But what system going forward are we going to stick with this 3 at the back system? So if we're sticking with the 3 at the back system, we just end up signing players 3 at the back system, and we know we cannot be saying, oh, this are we going to play 4 today? Or we'll play 4-3-3. We want to say when we have players that do not suit 4-4-3-3. So we cannot force that. So we end up with
the director of football, along with the coach/manager, have to identify going forward what philosophy they want to embrace. Hopefully, they will go for players that can play in, that are adaptable and can play in both positions. You look at, who was it that Kante turned? He was a winger and he turned him into a right back. Was it Moss? I forgot his name.
it was
Moses, not Moss. Moses. Yeah. Moses. What a transition that was. That was a metamorphosis. You know, it's so players can evolve, and especially this is what I'm trying to say. In the game is evolving so much so with the advent of foreign coaches coming into the Premier League and in other leagues also. I might add, not just the Premier League, where players are taught now to play in both positions. Yes, there's some people like Chilwell that is more naturally gifted to playing as a back as opposed to a wing back. Yes, but you're looking at teams now and scouts and what have you. That coaches are identifying players to play in a myriad of positions because the game is evolving so much now with different formations. No longer do we play only a 4-4-2. Yeah, maybe Big Sam does, but that's about it. The top teams in all the major leagues, all their players can adapt and excel in multiple formations. That's why they're what we would call an elite player. But you're right, though. We have to identify. We have to identify these players.
Sean Dyche as well was playing a 4-4-2. But what I'm trying to say is this, My argument is this. If we are going to sign players and we tell them, there is no point forcing them to play. You see, players might play because they want them to play, or you should be able to play because it does not suit them sometimes deep down. If you ask them, are you happy or comfortable, they'll tell you no. I prefer this place. But because they want to be in the team, the modern players should be able. Then we as fans, we judge them based on, oh yeah, you should be able. But have you asked the player, are you comfortable? Are you okay? It's all right to say we are signing the player, oh, he should be able. But why not sign the player that is able or likes to play the position? So this is his preferred. Because if we look at Loftus-Cheek now, we are judging Loftus-Cheek now as a right wing back. Loftus-Cheek has never been a right wing back. He's been converted. He's only trying his best. But if we look at people who are natural right wing backs, they do it effortlessly. If you look at, that's why Trent is being criticized for Liverpool, because he's playing as a right back and he's not comfortable defending. He's more of a right wing back because of his crossing.
Yeah, he started off as a midfielder initially. You know that, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you. You have a really valid point. It's about, and that's not the coach's issue right now. It should be the director of football and the scouts. They need to identify these players. You're totally right. We have to choose a philosophy and go forward from that. You brought up a very valid point, though. Maybe we are using too many players in their non-quote-unquote natural positions that they're inherently being used to. You're right. There's an element of discomfort, shall we say. And it shows.
All right, let me quickly catch up with the chat. Let's continue with a lineup of building exercise, and we'll talk about a few news, emergent news, transfer news. Again, Adekunle Tamitope says this is off topic, but again, have you seen how solid Nathan Ake has been for City this season? Interesting how many Chelsea fans thought Tuchel had lost it for wanting to sign him for 50 million.
Ake.
Yeah, again, that's Chelsea fans for you. First of all, when he left, everybody we got a kick out of it. The Chelsea fan base got a kick out of the fact that he was let go. And when the manager was going for him, they were going, what is he doing really? But again, we've moved on from that one. He's never going to come to Chelsea, not at least not right now. Just saying hello to each other there. Let's see, again, DJ. Again, I know I now have a fleet of bosses. I've been approached by a TFL to cover the train strikes, all thanks to coach and his, again, a mass ticket purchases. Yeah, that's an accusation, really. I'm going to get myself a lawyer.
Coach.
Yeah.
Coach. TFL stands for Transport for London. That's what TFL is.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, really.
Yeah, that's funny. That's very funny.
Big up again, Glenn. Nice to see you. There was a comment from Glenn. I was looking I think Denzel Dumfries again. What on earth? Again, I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or bad thing. Again, to me, it sounds like a bad thing. To me, Dumfries is a good player and will give Reece James a good competition. The key stats: Chelsea have won 7 of their past 8 league encounters with Newcastle United, including each of the last 4 in a row. But we're talking about Newcastle, who are, you can say, the big boys now. Part of the big boys group right now. A lot have changed, and
they've transformed, haven't they?
Yeah, they've transformed. Yep, and their project is ahead of time. And given the stats you just showed on the screen, I'm even more concerned because the charity FC factor is well and truly in existence, really. But hopefully, you cannot script this game. That's a fact. Let's see what happens. Roger is such a calming influence on the panel. I suggest we.
Ouch.
Yeah, I suggest we make him the CDM for Chelsea. Yeah, and he uses big words to make his points, and believable to in most cases. I get that's delicious indeed. I'm sorry, but these men earn hundreds of thousands of pounds. Surely they can switch up from a right centre back to RCB again. Because that's modern football, like Roger tried to explain. But I totally understand Graham Potter's, what's his name, AD's argument.
He's calling you Potter now, Eddie. Oh.
I know Eddie's on my side. In that case, I know Eddie's on my side. But what I wanted to say is this.
Just joking.
I can understand his argument. To me, the way I see
he has a valid point. He has a valid point.
Some players can easily, again, like Moses, who was a winger, converted to right wing back. Again, he was one of the best then. He was one of the best at Chelsea, especially him and Marcus Alonso were on fire for Chelsea under Antonio Conte. We've seen again. So it's not just him. Again, it depends. You can say everything comes down to the attributes that define that player's way of playing. That would tell whether it'd be easy for that player to convert. Moses was physical before time. He was good on the ball. Yeah. He's a good dribbler, but before time he was physical. He was also good. He has an eye to defend very well too.
And speed.
Yeah, he has pace too. So he has an eye to defend very well, and he can read the game very well. So it was easy for him to transition from a winger to a wing back. And he enjoyed it and got some delicious goals to while he tried it. So that's, by the way, let me come to you, Roger. So we can, I think the chat thinks it's going to be Kovacic here, and I can agree with them. But we don't know whether again Jorginho will be fit. But we'll find out. I think when does again the press conference come on? It should have started and ended by now.
Any moment.
It's on now, man. It's on.
Okay, so now we'll find out whether Jorginho is ready. I don't know yet, but we'll see what happens. So we have this position. We all can agree that most definitely Mount plays, especially when he didn't start against Manchester City. So most likely he will start. Where we have a problem, you could say, I'm not sure what's going to happen here, really, if this is the structure. If it
Oh.
was like a 2-1, then it'd be easy to predict maybe Christian Pulisic or Raheem Sterling start. But if it is like this, it's difficult to tell. I think he'd still accommodate either Raheem Sterling or either Raheem Sterling or Christian Pulisic. But Roger, what do you think happens? Do you think it's going to be in the structure here in the front three? It's going to be 1-2 or 2-1?
1-2.
Yeah, and that's what he's done predominantly. So for you, who starts here?
If it's Sterling, I would like a blindfold with the firing squad, please. Just shoot me. Just please. Put me out of my misery.
My gosh, really.
Seriously.
But I think Sterling starts, most likely.
Me not English. I can't handle it.
No, but what do you think happens? I really want to know.
I think there's a strong chance because of his propensity to play him. And it's not just Potter, it's every bloody coach. Don't get it. Just, out of the last 10 games, he's got one successful dribble. You think that's good enough? Hall, in 75 minutes, had 3 successful dribbles, 3 out of 3, actually. It's I don't know. And
that wasn't, again, the easiest of dribbles. He dribbled them, took them on as they were coming after him, and he weathered the onslaught from them. Again, go ahead.
With no space. His spatial awareness was very impressive when you consider what he was going through. I'm talking about Hall, obviously, not Sterling. I would like to see Pulisic play. I think he has to get a run of games. But I fear that he will start Sterling. I truly feel
most likely. That. So I believe you.
Yeah, I would like to listen. I'm disappointed with Pulisic also. By the way, I rate him highly, but his deficiencies are they're obvious and they're annoying too. Especially the way he pouts after he loses the ball. He doesn't track back. He doesn't hustle back and try to rectify his error or a great defensive play. He just doesn't. And he's muscled off the ball way too much. But I believe he's a better player than Sterling at this present moment in time. So I prefer to see Sterling. On the right-hand side, I don't want to see Ziyech play because he's not our future. I think, in all likelihood, Ziyech is gone. I think. I mean, I could be wrong. So who do we play on the right-hand side? Who is there? Maybe Connor. I don't know.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. It looks like, here's the thing. Conor Gallagher didn't start against Man City.
I'd like to see Kai. I'd like to see... Actually, do you know what? I'd like to see Broja and Kai play. I'd like to see Mount, Broja and Kai. That's who I would really like to see more than anything. Bring height and speed up front. And they're very productive. They give great industry. Those three, they would really, they would press non-stop. That's what I would like to see. Will that happen? Probably not. But I would like to see, at the very least, Pulisic and...
Let's be honest. What happens here, really? Because if he really wants to accommodate, what's his name? Conor Gallagher, who didn't play the last game, that it will never be 1-2 here up front. It will be this 2-1. Yeah, that's what I think will happen. I don't think it will be 1-2. I think it will be 2-1, and Mount won't be here again.
No,
honestly, I don't think it will be 1-2. I think it will be 2-1 because most likely he will like to accommodate Mount again or something different. Actually, the chance is going to be a different structure. But I'm not sure really. What do you think happens? What structure do you think it's going to be? It's difficult to tell because it's telling really that Mount and Gallagher didn't start, which means he will most likely accommodate them in this game. So that changes quite a lot.
Then if it's a 2-1, which I don't suspect it will be, but if it is that, then it's going to be either Mount or Gallagher, number 10. And it's probably going to be Pulisic or Sterling on the number 9, and either number 9, the number 9 on the left-hand side. The number 9 up front, which is a true number 9, I would suspect that he will use, that should be number 11. I suspect,
just go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, sure, or an 8. I would suspect it will be Pierre-Emerick or Broja, or even Kai, but I would like to see Broja in the number 9. I think we go forward from now on this season. I want to see Broja 75% of the time starting.
Yeah, this isn't really going to be easy here. Again, Eddie, what do you think happens in the front 3 here? Because that's the most difficult. Given this, again, from here that you could say it's easy, and from what we're seeing just quickly, again, Potter Press started a few minutes ago, and here again, I see Roger as more of a Chopper Harris who would take the ball, the player, the grass, and the corner flag, and then turn to the ref and say, "Who, me? Never." I get it. I love that.
Oh. So I don't know whether you're familiar with Chopper Harris, Ron Harris.
I'm not, but again, the other aspect, everything he explained, the detail is good enough. We have now entered the court of poor takes. he's seriously having a go at us, really.
Yeah.
Again, Jorginho trained today, will probably play tomorrow, most likely. Yeah. Again, he should. Again, it's not like, again, he was a World Cup. He has a World Cup to attend to. Well, ouch. Yep, that's the truth. Again, Liam Lane, big up everyone. Let me see anything else. Pulisic tries to dribble and lose the position. Again, we have to say that too. I think he loses the ball quite more often. I could care less on how many times he hits the deck. I want to see him not lose the ball carelessly. Is Omari an option? Yeah, again, that's an argument. One I would like to see start over, again, Raheem Sterling, if anybody else is going to start there. But it's difficult to...
Coach, Pulisic isn't dispossessed. Pulisic doesn't lose the ball when trying to dribble. He's actually dispossessed in the shoulder barge or tackled from behind more often. He's out-muscled. Where Sterling, Sterling loses the ball when he's trying to dribble, and the defender puts the foot out and gets the ball. There's a big difference between those two, how they lose the ball.
Yeah. I agree with that. Exactly, yeah.
Okay, let's see again. Please like if you haven't. We have 31 likes. You can do better than that. If you haven't, take a second to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, J5 trained, no other changes injury-wise from, again, so he's most likely going to start. Here's where the confusion lies now. With this structure, well, again, I'm pretty sure Mason Mount start. I'm pretty sure Conor Gallagher could start, but how do we accommodate them? So that brings to mind that the chance is going to be a 4-2-3-1, where he was able to accommodate the two of them. Yeah. Should we switch it to that structure? I think you make it easier. Should we give it a shot, really, and see how it looks? If we try,
you really think he's going to start both of them together, Conor and Mount?
He's done that. He did that against Wolves.
Yes.
And they played very well.
And they played very well too,
yeah. Yeah, and who didn't play in that game at all? Let me think. Oh, yeah, that would be Sterling. Coincidence? I think not.
So, again, it's difficult to see how this is going to... If we believe, again, that given the fact that Gallagher didn't start against Man City, he starts this one, and Mason didn't start, so he starts this one. Even Kai Havertz starts, so he starts this one. So if anything, it will most likely be because I think Potter, whether it was, again, it was intentional, whether it's, again, inadvertently, you could say from his comments, he admitted he knows that Raheem Sterling has been in poor form. So I'm saying possibly something like this, because Mason can play, again, as a 2-8. Mount can actually play here. Yes. But I doubt if it's going to be this structure, if this is going to be the case. Again, I think there's a chance it is who here, Gallagher here.
Really?
That's just me. I'm not saying it's final. Then here, most likely Kai Havertz, because he's played him there too. Even though under him, Kai Havertz has done well when he plays as a 10. So I'm not sure. Eddie, what do you think? Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask you guys, everyone, a question, if you don't mind, sir?
Go ahead.
What do you think Potter's evaluation of Kai is?
A 10. more of a creator than a goal scorer.
Yeah.
That has shown where he's deployed him. So, but if it's going to be this structure, he would want to accommodate him, not really because he's going to be scoring 10 goals here, because of, again, his, you can say, the link-up play, again, hold-up play, plus the fluidity he prefers, because I've seen Potter prefers fluidity over having a defined attacker, again, but we don't have that type of a traditional striker right now, you can say. Aubameyang can participate in the play, he can drop deep sometimes and create for his teammates, but this is really confusing. There's no telling what will happen here.
Well,
now do you understand Potter's dilemma?
Yeah, it's not that simple, really. So, Eddie, go ahead. What do you think?
So I don't agree, Rogers. He's creating the dilemma for himself. It's simple. If you go based on form,
objection.
There's no dilemma. There's no much dilemma. Yeah, objection overruled.
Go ahead, Eddie.
Good one. Sorry.
Well, I mean, because if you look at it, the three players we're talking about to fit into the two behind Harvard, they came on the 68th minute. Sterling, Mount, and Gallagher.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, it will be, if anyone is going to drop out of it, I can't see Potter standing and looking Sterling not starting 2 games back to back. I don't think he'll be able to stand that. So
that's another point.
Sterling is going to start ahead of Gallagher. He can look at Gallagher in the face. I don't think he will be able to stand not starting Sterling.
You could say again. You have again evidence with that.
Thanks for ruining my day.
Pardon?
Thanks for ruining my day, Eddie.
Oh yeah, thanks to Potter. Thanks to Potter, Rogers.
Yeah, that's a valid point, though. And I fear he will start him.
Yeah, I think if this is the structure, then Sterling will most likely start on the left-hand side there. That is if Lewis Hall start, but I think we all believe he's done enough to start that game. And again, we played better with him. Again, the question remains, I'm not even sure Koulibaly starts here, given how well the combination we saw between Hall and Koulibaly, and again, what's his name? Cucurella. He may well go for it again. And you can say, underground Potter, we've learned, usually whatever works, he does that next, whatever he believes works. And that looked like he worked in terms of how well they played, and they created a good chances, but didn't take the chances anyway. But that's, by the way, I think this makes more sense. I don't think Mason Mount, and again, he played Sterling. I don't see Sterling not starting in 2 games in a row. Tebago, your thoughts, really?
Very, very good lineup, guys. But again, you said Sterling can be dropped for 2 games. What about Aubameyang? Can Aubameyang afford not to play this game? We'll wait and see. But in terms of on form, it's not easy for Graham Potter's job to choose which player can play there at the moment, because everyone at the moment is not firing and scoring. So
yeah, but some more than others.
Yes. And also, guys, I was listening to the press conference, and then the last question they asked Graham Potter a delicious comment. They said, like, after the Newcastle game, are you planning to meet with the new owners to reflect what happened, and then also the future plans? He said, we're normally having dialogues almost every day, and then we should meet again after this. It's so important, because if I'm Graham Potter, I'll demand more players. If these players are not working for him at the moment, I'll just tell the new owners, guys, I just need 1, 2, 3 players in January, and then as summer we can add more, because at the moment it's not looking good for Graham Potter. But again,
is that your way saying that again? The problem he's had again. The problems are down to the players he has. Is that what your indirect way of saying that?
He's eluding.
Yeah, coach, it's like feeding a kid food, and then that kid doesn't want to take those food, because clearly he gives these players instructions, whether we like it or not. But are they doing it at the moment? We are not sure because we are not scoring goals and we are in best form at the moment.
Go ahead,
What?
Tebago. I think it's coming from. If it was coming from Eddie's end, go ahead.
Okay. All I'm saying, like, our attackers at the moment are not good, are not doing well. And then I feel like they should make the problem now is the decision making. If the decision making was good, would have been scoring goals. But due to poor decision making, we are not scoring goals.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, can I ask you a quick question?
Roger, go ahead, and I wanted you to tell us what you think about. Again, I don't know if you've spoken about the front three, how it's going to be. I think we were just discussing it together. Just quickly, again, Kai has hypnotized Potter. There's a chance that's the case. Objection overruled. Yep. Let's see what we have here. We cannot play Gallagher and Mount together. They played together, and they actually did well on the day. Hall and Kukurea together because of what you saw the other day. But I think it will be a much more difficult task to deal with. More pace, more power, more, again, physicality. So Koulibaly is probably the most suitable to start there. But we'll see what Potter does tomorrow. So go ahead, Roger, if you haven't. Can I
ask you a technical question? You have this graphic. You have this graphic up. Is it possible for you to put two football pitches up there, one for a back three, one for a back four? Is it possible?
Yeah, we could do two different lineups. We could just quickly reshuffle it. Let's see how. Okay, go ahead.
Because with this coach, he's not exactly Sam Allardyce, where it's going to be a 4-4-2 every day of the week. This guy is so unpredictable. So maybe we should, if we can. I don't know. It was just a suggestion. But so yeah, my thought of the front three, to be honest with you, I think he's going to go with a 1-2. I don't think he's going to go with a 2-1. So I think he's going to play.
Yeah, because the 1-2 approach is what he's done predominantly.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
Yeah, you're talking about again a 10 and 2 9s. Yeah, even though it's a fluid approach. Yeah. But there's no telling what we do. Let's say if it is like this, then if it is like this, then most likely again Mount here because he didn't play in the last game. So, but let's just finish it.
Sure. The reason why I say Mount in the number 10 centrally is so he can drop back into the midfield to help them. This is what because we're
he likes to use them. So he will be Mount Starling here, most likely Aubameyang here. I think I'm not sure. I'm just going again. Let's say again, traditional number 9 is still the same thing. I think Aubameyang most likely here.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah. So sadly, that's the one. That's for this structure, and for this structure, really, we can plug in. It has to be Silva here. Correct me if I'm wrong. When you think I'm making a mistake here.
Yeah.
And Koulibaly.
Is it possible for you to do this side by side or no? To have two football pitches?
No, it's not going to be possible, really. Yeah.
Sure. I was just suggesting that's all.
Yeah. So if it's a four at the back approach, who do you think starts again? Essentially, I was going to think a mixture of either Koulibaly or Silva with a pairing of either Koulibaly or Silva with what's his name, Trevor Chalobah. I think that's what it's going to be because I don't think he'd play two of them. So one of them will have to be, I don't think it would be Koulibaly, Silva, and then Chalobah does what? He's not going to the World Cup, really.
And most of the time he drops Koulibaly.
Sorry?
Most of the times he drops Koulibaly and he plays Silva and Chalobah.
Yeah, so it's confusing. I think, let's say if it's going to be a back four, I don't think the two of them will play. Go ahead.
Chalobah needs a rest. He started, 11, 12 games in a row?
He's not going to the World Cup. I think he plays this one, really.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Because the balance is key. Again, he's done quite well even on his worst day. He's done well defensively.
I'd like to see Silva and Koulibaly play together in the back four. I really would.
It's not going to happen tomorrow, really. The reason being, Koulibaly played, again, he played 90 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Against Manchester City.
So
I think he'll probably...
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably be, again not really, again that may well have been his last game before the World Cup break. So it's going to be a Silva on the left and Chalobah on the right. That's what I think it will be. And here most likely Cesar Azpilicueta because again, yeah. And when no Cesar, it's an S. Let me just do Aspi.
I think it is an S, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's an S. Let me do Aspi. Aspi here. Then here most likely Cucurella. I don't think if it's a back four, I don't think he starts what's his name? He starts Lewis Hall there because Lewis Hall is a midfielder. That's why he's able to, you could say, facilitate that role deliciously because he has the midfield attributes already in him naturally. So he was able to operate well with that space there. The 2-6s again, it comes down to we know who it is, Kovacic. That doesn't change. Here again, it will be Jorginho.
Yep.
It's hard to tell which of the two approaches will be the most likely, really. Then if this is it, really, I'd see again here. Again, if we're going by form, I'd say Christian Pulisic over Sterling, but good luck. Yeah, that will never happen.
Good luck.
Yeah. Pulisic, then here Gallagher. This system can accommodate Gallagher. I think he can actually do that, and he didn't play the last game.
This is what he did against Wolves, right?
He didn't start, yeah. So I think nearly the same thing against Wolves, and Mount played centrally as a 10, and he was good on that day. So here, Aubameyang, or maybe Kai, I don't know. So there's a couple of options there. Sorry?
Hopefully Kai.
Yeah, hopefully, again, I'd rather Kai Havertz play in the 10th position and Aubameyang stay there rather than Mason Mount here, because I think he can play the 10 role better than Mount. That's why I think. So your thoughts on this particular formation, really?
Sure, yeah, no. Because Mount can drop into midfield there, and he can also he's the conduit between the midfield and the front three, or front 2-1, so to speak. But I would like to see Kai on the right instead of Gallagher and Broja up front in a perfect world. That's what I would like to see. If I was the coach, that's what I would choose. I would choose Pulisic, Mount, Kai, Broja. I want really Broja to get as much exposure as possible. I want to see what he's this season, because we're not going to win the league this year. We're going to be struggling to make top 4, so we might as well determine how he plays. I'm talking about Broja. Can he replicate what he did for Southampton? This is what we need to ascertain. Simple as that.
I think he can, but you have to play him consistently to see that. You cannot expect him to be firing all cylinders when he gets to play just 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But again, I still haven't forgiven Potter for not starting Broja against Zagreb, really.
Yeah.
Still, I can see the poor kid going home telling his friends that he's going to start the Champions League game after the press conference. And that didn't happen. What a disappointment it would be.
Also, after who played? Let me have a look. Who played after the Wolves game? Let's have a look. The formations. Let's have a look here. So when we play Wolves, so he didn't start against AC Milan either, and he just scored a great goal when he came on for Wolves. So
he wasn't rewarded.
No, or against Aston Villa. No, he wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah. So again, with this structure, Roger, what do you think? Eddie, what do you think?
It's not a bad one, but is it not possible we have where Gallagher is, we have Sterling there, even though as much as I don't like to say that, just to give width. Where is the width coming from?
Here's the thing: who are you trying to accommodate?
Pulisic gives you width.
Pulisic for me again should start.
On the width on the right side. Even though as much as I know, Sterling doesn't actually give us width. That's what he's supposed to be there doing, giving that width and running, but he can't even dribble. So that's what it's supposed to be. The ideal scenario would have been the Sterling we expected to get from City would have been on that right side, giving us that width as well. This system would have been good. But now Sterling is not doing it. So I think Gallagher will be there. It would have been Sterling and then Pulisic on this left side. But don't be surprised. It would bench Pulisic and put Sterling on the left.
Yep. You know that. I know that.
Obviously, we know that. And Mount, Mount definitely loves to play.
Oh. Good jab. No, you're right. I don't know. It's.
Oh.
What do you think, Coach?
Sorry, I was asking, is Broya going to the World Cup? I think it makes sense again, but Potter does his thing.
Broya plays for Albania, and Albania didn't qualify, did they? I don't believe they did. So Broya does.
No, I don't think they did.
No. Broya plays for Albania, sir. So he's not in the World Cup.
He plays for Albania. Okay, yeah, they're not.
No, they're not. So he doesn't go to the World Cup. By the way, I got some shock news today. De Gea didn't make the Spanish squad. I was shocked about that.
Oh, he's going to make it. But what's his name?
No, he's not included. De Gea's not included.
Oh, yeah, he's not included. Okay. I was thinking, okay. Both him and what's his name? And the Chelsea goalkeeper. Yeah, both aren't going. We need Aspie again. We need Aspie's experience tomorrow. So most likely he's going to start. And that you could say probably that was the reason why he started. And you could say if we're attacking, this can actually easily become again. If we had Koulibaly here, you could say it could easily transition it again into it will be a hybrid approach of 3 again when attacking, a 4 when defending. If Koulibaly was here. But now it's difficult for it to be that, given that it could be that, which means if Aspie drift forward, then it would be 1, 2, 3, Kukurea left center back, centrally Silva right, Chalobah. So you could still transition into a back 3 if we're attacking. But that's by the way, let's see what we have here. Again, Aubameyang has been a striker course. Again, I don't think so at this point. No, the issue the issues stem from our midfield. Again, like poor, again, you don't get they starve our attackers of, you can say, services in most cases, especially if we're not playing with a fluid attack, it gets dangerous. Sterling is not good, again, at the right. So on the left. So for me, again, you can say this is just our preferred lineup, but tomorrow, most likely, Sterling starts off over Christian Pulisic. If Potter doesn't, maybe he again, I'm not sure how to say. Please, again, hit the like button and subscribe to the... No, just go away. Go away, please. I'm not going to read that one. Just go away.
That's funny.
It's not going to work, really. Glenn says, I have to go, people. Again, obligatory family stuff. Again, enjoy your Friday, legends. Again, Up the Chest YouTube, my brother. Bye, Glenn. Let's see what we'll have again. Broya is not headed to the... Yeah, he's not. Pulisic out, Sterling in. Again, Aspie. Let's see what else we have here. No way would I play Gallagher and Mount together on a front 3. They are just too similar in terms of their industry, really. I'm not going to go into the argument of who's more technically gifted than the other. Mount, every now and then you see flashes of, again, some skill set. You say he's technically gifted, but we'll see as time progresses. If that's not the case, who plays here? I don't know, really. I think two of them can play together.
Mount is technical.
Yeah, he is too. Yeah, but one of them is better than the other. But I'm not going to get into that argument.
I think Mount has a good first touch.
You see, what do you say?
I think Mount has a good first touch.
He does. Even Gallagher does, really.
Yeah, I think they're both quite technical.
Yeah, you can. That's a good argument. Enjoy your Friday, coach. Enjoy your Friday too. So, your final thoughts. Again, what do you expect tomorrow? And let me start with you, Tebago. What type of game do you expect tomorrow? So we can call it a day with that one.
Okay, to be honest, tomorrow I just want the players to play tomorrow's game, just like a final. Let's say World Cup final. it's a final game before the World Cup start. We need a result because we've been poor recently. So hopefully tomorrow we can win, and then when the World Cup finished, we can start on a positive note. Because if we don't win this game, we start the games after the World Cup under pressure, which is not good at the moment. So hopefully tomorrow the boys will give us a 100% performance, scoring goals and being clinical. That's it, guys.
Deep down, if you're being honest, deep down, do you really think we'd win? Stop laughing.
to be honest, we have a 10% winning chances.
Yeah, even though again, you can say recent record, you can say their form and the insights we looked at. Again, we don't have a chance really, but you don't script football. That's just the truth. Panel, big up to you too. He says again, tomorrow I am gonna be again. Tomorrow it's gonna be a win for us. Keep the blue flag flying high. I hope so. How about you, Roger? Your thoughts? What do you think happens tomorrow, and what type of game do you expect?
Well, Eddie lost me when he said playing like a World Cup final. I'm an Englishman. I wouldn't know what that's like. So, ouch. But yeah, no, I get it. What I want to see is I want to see a progression, an extension of the Man City game with regards to creating chances, with regards to effort, XG, expected goals. I want to see more of a defensive, shall we say, field. I want us to hopefully keep a clean sheet if at all possible. I do not want us to regress like we did against Arsenal. That Arsenal game was really hard to watch the second time. It is probably one of the worst games I've seen in many years that Chelsea's ever played. We were lacking in so many aspects. So I want us to excel. I want us to take several steps forward from the previous game a few nights ago. I'm not sure. I think he is going to go with a back three, in all honesty. I can understand why. It makes sense. But, you know, who knows with this guy? And I think it's a safe assumption that Sterling will play and probably Aubameyang will play, or at least come on as a sub. But I think it's going to be a draw. You know, seriously, on form, no, we're not going to win. But, you know, the game is never played on paper. You know, you see sometimes, and you see Chelsea winning when you least expect them to. I'm not being optimistic. I'm just being realistic. I sense that we could surprise them. You know, we could upset them. We have the ability to. We know that, and we have the squad. More importantly, question is, do we apply ourselves? This is it. And if Coach Potter, does get it wrong, he needs to react fast enough. You know, he has been, in my opinion. I know you don't agree, but I think he has been reacting fast enough. But I would like to see him act a little bit faster. But let's see what happens. It's going to be an interesting
You're
game.
confusing me, Roger. You'd like to see him react a bit faster, but he has been reacting faster. I'm not sure, but
he has been. With regards to your statements, you think he hasn't been acting fast enough?
No, he hasn't. If he's reacting fast, we can now. Raheem should be less than 1 minute on the pitch.
It shouldn't even be on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. But I get your argument. Go ahead, though.
No, I'm perplexed, Coach. Why he is? You're right about one thing. He's picking players not on form, and I don't understand why. Aubameyang is not on form. He's played him so many games, more than enough to say, okay, I've given you enough chances. You're not on form. You need to sit on the bench. Same with Sterling by far. He's played out of the 20 games this year, he started 18. He came on as a sub in one, and one he did not play, but he was on the bench. That's way too much starting experience, in my opinion. He should have been benched a long time ago, based on what my eyes and statistics tell me. I'm not a Sterling hater, not by any chance. I do compliment him and state when he's done something good, like his intelligent runs and so forth. but I believe he's not as good as Pulisic. But then again, Pulisic needs to, pull up his socks. He needs to improve also. So I don't know. I think maybe, I can't remember who it was. I can't remember who it is actually that is on the panel that says a lot of our players maybe aren't Chelsea quality enough. Maybe we will come to that conclusion pretty shortly because I don't know. I see the lack of effort, and to be honest with you, a lot of the time the lack of quality. So maybe
Yeah, you could argue that. I just quickly, I'm gonna go to AD, then I'll go to Tebago, and then the round up for DJ. AD, what type of game do you expect tomorrow? And deep down, do you think you could get a good result out of that game?
Isn't it so painful that we're going to a game against Newcastle and not one of those that have spoken have said 100% we're going to win? That's how low we've come as a football club.
And for good reasons.
Yeah, for good. Yeah. So that shows that there's a lot of work to be done. We're not optimistic. Nobody's thinking about say, yes, we're going out there. We should be getting 3 points or minimum a draw. I don't even see anybody being, personally, I don't even see, because I've just looked at the start. They've not lost a game, just one loss this season against Liverpool. And that came in the last minute of the game at Anfield.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that tells you the form they have in. And I don't know if they're missing, I think Callum Wilson is like out injured according to information, he might be sick. And I think they're missing Almiron maybe. And then they don't even have.
No, I think Almiron is fine. I don't see anything about Almiron. Did he say he's sick?
Almiron went off injured against the last game against I think the game against Southampton. He went off injured. So and he didn't play the last game, their cup game against Newcastle. He wasn't there.
Again, I don't think he'd start him in that cup game anyway. He needs a rest. He's one of your best players, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly. And they don't even have Alexander Isak. He's not there. They don't have what's it called now? Saint Alex Maximilian. Yet we're looking at their squad. You know what I mean? So as much as we can talk about injuries, they have injuries as well, but it's not affecting them as much as it's affecting us. And if you look at, we should not forget their set piece specialist, Trippier. We should not afford to give free kicks at the edge of the outside the box. That guy is deadly with his free kick. So, yep. I mean, we're going into this game, and I'm not really positive. I don't know what to expect. Just going to sit and hope. All we are just doing as fans now is just hope that we get the best out of our players tomorrow. I mean, on paper, if we look at side by side, on paper, we should be beating Newcastle. On paper.
Yeah, I agree with you, really. Your thoughts again, how about you, Tebago, your thoughts before I go to DJ to round off with them? Tebago, you gone? Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like Tebago is available. DJ, let me get your thoughts. I don't know, what do you think Graham Potter would do tomorrow in terms of selection? And quickly, your thoughts, what type of game to expect tomorrow? And deep down, do you think we'll get a good result from that? And welcome to the panel, brother. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you. Big up to everyone.
Hey, DJ.
Yeah, listen, I can understand why the Chelsea fans are not optimistic in this game. The way we've been playing of late, I can understand there's no confidence at the moment with our team. But I've always been one of them kind of fans that tries to be confident about my team and try to say we're going to try and get something out of the game. I think this is a game that should really not have been played, if you ask me, especially leading up to the World Cup. A waste of time, if you ask me. Should have just been left and had the break, let them have gone to their World Cup squads, and that was it. But we have to play a game. It's in front of us. Newcastle, no doubt's going to make it tough. I said to you yesterday, Kachilla, on the show yesterday, I said to you, going to St James's Park under that crowd, it's going to be, you're going to hear the roar when you go down there. It's hostile. They're going to make it impossible for us. And, that's their 12th man, basically. And even when the chips are down with Newcastle, you just know their fans are just there to roar them on. And that's all they need. And it's going to be a tough game tomorrow. There's no doubt about it. I think, though, I think we still can do it, but we can still either get like I said, it has to be a must not lose game tomorrow. So if we can come out this game as a draw, I'll be happy. But obviously, I want the 3 points. And as I said, to go into this World Cup break, we need to get some points on the board, because I think, as I said, I think 5th or 6th we can get before the World Cup anyway, before the World Cup begins. So, yeah, I can understand it's the worries from the fans, but yeah, I'm still going to be optimistic and say we can go there and do something with the team. And again, it's got to be the players' mindset. What's going to go through players' minds tomorrow? We don't want to get injured before the World Cup. Do they come out of challenges? Do they make challenges? This is what's going to be the thing for me for tomorrow. And I want to watch that closely tomorrow, because if you're going to see players coming out of challenges or not making challenges, then you just know this game. You might as well just give the game to Newcastle now. If that is the case, because they're going to want it more. So, like I said, though, be tough, hostile, but I still think we can get something out of this game.
Yeah. So, but again, that is just belief. And that's belief, and then being optimistic. But the numbers say otherwise. But again, more importantly, I recognize that you cannot script this game. Anything can happen. And with that, I want to say thank you again for DJ again. They say lateness is greatness, and I understand we're all busy.
Lateness.
No worry. It's not an obligation, man.
Bad.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, again, I have to end it. Again, it is what it is. Again, win or lose, let's keep the blue flag flying high. That's the truth. No matter the situation, Chelsea is the club we support. Unless, again, we don't play on paper. Yep, again, you cannot script this game. That's just the truth. But again, otherwise, statistics and everything, recent form, show it's going to be a difficult game. These guys won't play hard. The World Cup is around the corner. So again, you just said again after what you said a few seconds ago. Tebago, what type of game do you expect tomorrow? Again, have I asked you that question really? And whether you expect we'd get a win or I think I have, Tebago. Okay, looks like he has a connection issue. That's the case. I want to say thank you to Limitless, Liam Lane, Just Fiola, who was here before, Kimso himself, Victor, Adedoyun, and everyone else again who was in the chat. Thank you guys for finding the time to join the show. I cannot thank you guys enough. With that, we've come to the end of the show. See you guys next time, and cheers.
Cheers.
Peace. Up the Blues.